All right, everyone, welcome to the live show tonight. My camera is a little playing tricks with me right now. Hey everyone, I just want to say thank you to those who are watching this right now and those who will, take the time to come later, maybe throughout the night. I'm just gonna stop by to say hello. Thank you very much for spending time with me here tonight, and also to those who watch this video in the future. We will have the timestamps as I always do. That way, that helps you navigate through the collectibles, the ones you're more interested, because of course this live video can go for hours sometimes. Like the longest we've been is almost 4 hours, which is, it's a marathonic thing to do, but at the same time there's so much to talk about, and I like to cover a lot of collectibles because there's so much that I'm a fan of, and a lot of things that really entice me, a lot of things that pick my attention, and I know that many of you have the same likes. It's not everything is Marvel, not everything is DC, not everything Star Wars. There's other things, and there's a lot of cool things to collect, so I like to cover those things as well. But I want to say thank you to everyone that's here. Now, if you're here for the first time, if you like this channel, if you like the content, and you've been actually stumbling from time to time with my videos, and you like what I do, and you want to support, you can do so by, first and foremost, by subscribing to the channel, by pressing that like button in the video. That way it helps the algorithm in YouTube to push this. It pushes the video for more viewers, for more collectors, and people who are like-minded. That way I can share my stuff. We can share this video, the stuff that I produce. And also leave your comments. Let me know if you're watching, even if you're on just passing by and you're at work or you're doing something and you don't have the opportunity. But if you can say hello, that helps a lot. Whether you do it in the live video through the chat, or if you do it down the road in the video, let me know what you think. Share your opinion with me. I like to hear it, and I'm always open for conversation. But everyone is welcome. And I would say, and yes, also follow me on my Facebook group. Facebook, I have a Facebook page. I share there a lot of things, news, whatever. But you can follow me there. On Instagram, I'm more active. Also on Twitter, the links are in the description. And consider supporting the channel financially. You can do so also if you've been a member for a long time and you like the content, you want to support. That really helps me to produce better content. You can do it through Patreon, or you can do it through the super chat here too. There's many ways that you can support. Just even if you can't, thank you. At least let me know that you're watching. That's more appreciated too. All right, my friends, there's a lot to cover tonight. Sorta, because of course, as I mentioned before, there's a lot of things happening right now around the world of collectibles, of course, because of course we just celebrated the new year in China, which in many ways it means that a lot of things are kind of on the right now kind of slow, going back to normal. So we're not getting to see a lot of the stuff, not yet, but we're going to see a lot more as the weeks pass by. Of course, now that the end of the winter is upon us, spring is almost here. Definitely you're gonna see a lot of companies coming very strong with a lot of collectible stuff. All right, so just to give you an idea what we're gonna cover today, we have on my schedule, I want to talk about Hasbro, particularly Marvel Legends. I want to talk about very quickly about some of the figures. I'm a Marvel Legends collector as well. I love the figures. I know statue collectors don't care much about figures, not all of them, but I do love the figures, and particularly their retro style, and they come carded. Hey, Squad Captain, how you doing, my friend? I like the carded ones. I like anything that has, I can display like that. We're gonna look at some of the stuff that Marvel Legends is doing. Hot Toys, they got released this week. We're gonna talk about Hot Toys. PCS for the Street Fighter 110 scale line. They have the new releases this week, the new pre-orders. We're gonna talk about Galaxias, this company that we talk about the high-end Captain America bust by Joe Mena, that big one. But now they have something more affordable, which is a 1/8 scale Magneto statue that looks great, very inspired on Jim Lee. We're gonna look at Galaxias. We're gonna talk about Kotobukiya. I haven't talked about Kotobukiya in quite some time. The company keeps producing stuff, particularly you're into the ARTFX-J, into the Bishoujo, you're into the smaller scale PVC stuff. They continue to produce. That is technically their bread and butter of Kotobukiya. So we're gonna look at that today. I want to talk about Star Ace Toys, this company from Hong Kong, from China. We also have Tweeterhead. And I think probably the biggest thing that I, here this week that's a lot of people excited, which is the new Skeletor and Panthor. It looks amazing. 1/6 scale, but huge piece. It's going to be the companion for the He-Man and Battle Cat, which is an amazing piece, but you know, we all know that. We're gonna talk about first 4 figures. They have a new Sonic the Hedgehog, the Knuckles figure. First 4 figures always does amazing stuff for gaming. We're gonna look at Lladró, this company from Spain. It has a super expensive porcelain statue. We're gonna look at that today. Of course, Lladró is a company I have talked about it in the past. They're one of the biggest, one of the oldest porcelain makers and producers in the world. They're based in Spain. We're gonna look at the stuff there. We're gonna look at another company that I think they're based in California, and of course they have connections with China, which is Espada Art. They have something new. I talked about them before. A company that I've never talked about in the channel, which is Gatherer's Tavern. This company that actually started as a distributor for XM Studios. They also have new statues, and they are a spec fiction, and they look very interesting. We're gonna cover what Gatherers is doing. Of course, we're gonna talk about Sideshow. They have some, particularly they have the Pulp Vixens, the new the Deep Down statue. It's another one in this Pulp Vixens line that they just started. We're gonna look at that today. We're going to talk about Superman, because even though it did not go on pre-order, the new Superman that was teased and then kind of like the news came out of nowhere this week has caused a lot of controversy in reference to the, you know, in this case, the sculpture, the design, the style, the choice that was taken. It was sculpted by my good friends, the Kucharik brothers. And we're going to cover that today. The pros, the cons, we're going to look at everything. I'm going to share my opinion on this video, let you know how I feel about it. We're also going to, and then at the end, we're going to talk about Legendary Beast Studio. They released a 1/3 scale Batman statue. They have 2 different versions of this Batman statue. We're going to look at this company also. And, you know, definitely it's going to be an interesting night. So I want to welcome everyone here. Squad Captain, thank you for you leaving the comment. But everyone else that comes to watch the video, you're all welcome here. All right. So let's start first by going, and for that reason, I'm coming here. I'm going to come to Big Bad Toy Store. This is where we're going to start. And what we're going to do first, I'm coming here. I could go to the Hasbro store, but the pieces that in this case, what I want to cover today is right here. It's the Marvel Comics, the 80th anniversary Ultimate Marvel Legends Deadpool. They have a couple things. Of course, you know, now that Marvel is celebrating the 80th anniversary, you're going to see a lot of companies producing things and selling things. And Marvel Legends is no exception. We have seen some of these figures here. Of course, in this, they have those 2 figures that I'm really interested on. Particularly, I am. We have this Deadpool, which is based on the art of the 90s. As you can see, this is like the Joe Kelly style, in my opinion. Actually, it is. And we're gonna look at this one. We also have this, of course, the Marvel Legends Deadpool Corpse, and we're gonna look at that one in the Vespa. And I like that concept. Now, this Deadpool Legends Wave 3 is something that is already on sale. We have seen this. A lot of these figures have been on sale forever. And you can go there. Also, they promoted them here, at least the figures they have in stock. But what I want to look at this one, let's start first with this one, with the Legends, the Deadpool Corpse. And, you know, it's cool. It's $40, which is not cheap, I will tell you, for Marvel Legends nowadays. But that's the price that we're getting now. But it's a very cool, you know, you get the Vespa, you got the squirrel pool, and then you forgot the name of the dog pool, whatever. Pop pool, I think that's what it is. I just don't remember right now. And it's kind of cool, you know. Since if you have a Marvel Legends display, definitely this is a nice way to display it. And of course, it comes with all the different accessories. I will tell you that I don't like some aspects of the Vespa. I think have been done better, particularly like the more plastic looking things like this with the like little horn thing, or the little the pipes from the Vespa, which to me the Vespa doesn't need that. Those things are kind of very plasticky. I wish it has a little more of a very contrast. Maybe they could have done overspray or doing a little more of that. But it kind of looks cool if you're into that. So it's a very cool way to display if you have your, you know, your Marvel Legends stuff. Definitely, if you need a Deadpool, it looks really cool. I do like the portrait that they chose for this one with the open eyes. Very well done. Reminds me a lot of the sculpt that was done for the minibus, or even the Deadpool on a bus statue from Gentle Giant that was done probably 10 years ago, which is still an amazing, maybe less, but it's, well, around 10 years. It's a great statue for sure. Hard to come by nowadays. But then you have interchangeable portraits as well. So it is a very cool, you can see you got all these little things that you can use. Like you see all the decals that you can put around. So it's a very cool thing, you know, if you're into it. Definitely, this is one I would not, if I get this one, I'm not going to display. Hey, what's up, Mitchell? Thank you for tuning in, my friend. Thank you for coming. So maybe this, yeah, it's kind of cool. I'm definitely going to grab it. I do like this type of concepts, but I think the Deadpool that I am really into it, or I definitely going to get, is this one, which is the more classic design. Now, this was already sold out, the pre-order at Hasbro. If you go to Hasbro Pulse at the Hasbro website on the app, it's sold out. You can come here. It's gonna release sometime August. I'm sure there's gonna be plenty to go around, but I do like this one. It's a great choice. The portrait is nice. They went with the more metallic blue and the red. It lacks, you know, any shading, which it's fine in my opinion, at least from the prototype I can see here, because it has a very vibrant red, which is a very classic Joe Kelly, or during that Joe Kelly era, Ed McGuinness style. So as you can see right here, it looks good in my opinion. They went to that red. You know, of course, you know, like I will tell you, like if somebody's gonna take credit about the style of the art of the Deadpool, it's always gonna be, unfortunately, Liefeld. You know, I have expressed it many times here on the channel, many times. Liefeld likes to take credit for a lot of things that he didn't do, because in reality, Deadpool, at least the Deadpool that we know, was not really the thing that he did, but it was definitely Joe Kelly, the one that did it. And of course, before him, you know, when you think about not only him, but the writing that was prior, you know, done by Nicieza. So I think that's the concepts that we know about Deadpool mostly. It started with Nicieza. I think the ideas and the concepts of how his personality was, but ultimately it was Joe Kelly who defined the character in a way that we understand it now. And yeah, I'm looking forward to that movie, the trailer that just went out, that we just saw this week. I'm looking forward to Deadpool 2 for sure. Definitely, that was a fantastic trailer. And of course, because of that, you know, you get the toys. It's the time to promote the toys. You know, that trailer was great. Of course, you know, I wish that we had seen more of in Wolverine, but I'm sure that we're gonna see it on the next trailer. But here you can see the weapons, very classic design. Very cool. If you into these figures, of course. The only thing I don't like about the figure is that they still, like we saw with the new X-Men from the X-Men 97, which we saw the trailer this week, which I'm really happy. Maybe at the end of this video we talk about it if we get the chance, about the trailers that came out. But that, you know, I'm excited for that show. But those figures that came out for that particular collection, the X-Men 97, they're pinless. They don't have the pins. But this, you know, it's kind of like a reissue that has been repainted. That's all it is. Maybe with some changes here and there. Maybe with the portrait is one of them, the head sculpt. But other than that, it's just they go back to the pins. It would be nice if they go pinless, as they have done with Wolverine, and I think it looks amazing like that. But you know, it's cool, very nice. Reminds me of the Kucharik Brothers statue, that portrait that they did on the Bowen designs, and even on the newest Kotobukiya, also done by them. It's cool. Comes with the weapons. That's kind of nice. I think the reason why I like this figure, and the reason why I'm definitely going to get two, one, of course, to have it, you know, out of the package, but the second one is because I do love this package. And you can see right there is the Uncanny X-Men. It has X-Force. It's such a classic looking, and it's a Marvel 80-year anniversary, and definitely it's a must, a collectible figure in my opinion. And therefore, I am going to have two of this. And I do love the colors. I do love the choice that they did for the art. It's really fantastic. So to me, that is the reason why I wanted to come here. I want to recommend it. If you're into this, $25.99 I think is fine. Just the packaging alone is, to me, worth the price point. I had no issue with it. And also, let me kind of show you one thing. Not only is gonna come like this, if you order yours, it's gonna come in its own protective box, which I do like the design that they chose for this one. Very nice. They did the same thing what they did with the Iron Man base on the 90s TV show, and I have that one. I have two actually, one in the package, and I like the package. And I have, of course, the one that I just simply took out of the package. So cool. I'm glad for the Marvel Legends. I think, you know, Deadpool, again, excited for the film. looking forward to it. We'll see what happens with it. It definitely was crazy, but the first one was crazy, over the top, but it was great. So I'm looking forward to what we're going to see on those, Deadpool films. That even Deadpool 2, they all were fantastic. They were great. So we'll see what happened with Deadpool and Wolverine. All right, so this is as we show here. Ooh, okay. As we can see right here, we're going to but I'm gonna say, hey, again to everyone, welcome to being here. All right, so I want to take you now. I want to take you to. We're gonna go to. I have to repeat myself there. Sideshow. Let's go to Sideshow Collectibles. We're gonna spend some good time there at Sideshow today. We're gonna look at some of the stuff that they have. Of course, here are all the releases. Some of them we're going to cover. Some of them we already cover because they came out in other places. Like Prime One Studio, that stuff came out last week. We talked about Harry Potter last week as well, so there's no need to talk about it today. This Guts, Black Swordsman, we talked about it last week. You can look at of course, the timestamps there if you like. But I want to talk about this. This is the only release from Hot Toys this week, which is Peter Parker's Superior Suit. And this is based on the Spider-Man 2 video game. I haven't played this game, so I'm totally unknowledgeable about the whole game. I played the first one, of course. I haven't even finished it, but this is the second one of the suits from that film. The pre-order is $285, going to release sometime between October and March of next year. Of course, being Hot Toys, it can take longer than that. You never know. It is a really cool figure. As you know, Hot Toys does amazing, Spider-Man figures. And this is not for everyone. But definitely, it's a very cool one. This is a Miles Morales suit, as you can see. You can even see it on the shape of the figure, and the form of the body, all of that, which is fantastic. That, one thing that Hot Toys has been doing, and in my opinion, that is amazing now, is that the figures, the look, the body types are different. Something that in the past, many years ago, almost all the body types were the same. But they do an effort to kind of have that difference in size and all, and you can see that there's a difference. Of course, it comes with those arms. Like in this case, the Iron Spider-Man looks really cool. The base is the classic base that we always have from Hot Toys, with that little, utensil or this thing, that the clamp, that it's, standard, never changes. But this, I'm not sure if it's going to be as, be able to display like that, because sometimes, particularly with this type of materials, it seems like it's a very soft material, and it has this little leather type of style of material that they use. They get bad so quickly, so sometimes I'm really afraid to do those type of poses with them, those figures, because the damage, you have to really protect them. You have to spray them. You have to find, I forgot what the name of that spray that we use in order to protect those type of materials. You put a coat just to protect that pleather. But it's kind of cool. I'm not going to deny it. It looks great. And I'm looking at the comments right there from Eddie. Hey, Eddie, how you doing, my friend? Hey, JP, are you aware that Deadpool trailer is the most viewed of all time? Yes, I saw that. I heard a video that they were talking about it. As of right now, I think the film has a guaranteed billion. Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, it was, I think, the most watched in a very short amount of time. Like, it just overpassed every other film ever. That trailer was crazy for sure. And yeah, I would say that $1 billion is a guarantee. It's going to, I think so. It's going to overcome every other film. That so many people are going to be going to the movies for that one. But yeah, looking at this, very nice arms, very mechanic looking. A very interesting looking figure. I do like the pose like this. I think that is a nice way to pose it. I'm sure a lot of people are going to use that particular pose. And the best part, of course, is because those tentacles, those arms, are going to allow for that, protection, or at least that security, stability to the, in this case, to the ground, to the, whatever you, in this case, to your display. But here you can see also the power, in this case, the webbing. It's a nice, I think Hot Toys did a fantastic. I just wish, the only thing I would have wished for this is that you have an interchangeable portrait where you have actually the face of Miles Morales. That would have been, well, actually, this is Peter Parker. So my apologies. I was thinking about this was Miles Morales, but actually it's Peter Parker. Now I'm looking at the name and I was like, wait a minute, I think I'm just... So the body looks more like Miles Morales than Peter Parker's body. So maybe I'm confused here and there. Because again, I haven't played this game. But in any case, it would have been nice to have then a portrait of Peter Parker. That would have been nice, you know, from the video game. It's not like they had to pay an actor for it, unless there was an actor they used for that. But here's the thing when I'm talking about the materials. Some of them, they look like pleather. Some areas, not everything. Like this areas of the arm, that's pleather. So yeah, that's something that, you know, you're gonna be afraid to kind of showcase. Now, you have interchangeable eyepieces. I'm not sure how this is gonna work out. Maybe with magnets. They look very similar. One is more wide open than the other one. One is more classic. But yeah, an interchangeable portrait would have been nice. And then you have some other things there. I think some... I don't know if it has a light up feature of any sort, but it has a lot of hands. And you have a couple of things there. So it is cool. I would say Hot Toys, again, is doing great things. They haven't really released so many things in the last few weeks. But of course, it's because of the celebration in China. But I'm sure that they're coming strong. We're going to see a lot more stuff in the coming months. And hoping for some really cool looking figures. But yeah, it is a nice figure. No doubt about it. It's a nice figure. If you're into... Like, there are many people who only collect the Spider-Man figures, and definitely there is something there. Another Spider-Man to add to the collection. It's already massive as it is. All right, so now that we're still here at Sideshow, there's another thing that I want to point out. By the way, let me know if the music is too loud. Let me know, because it's perfect for me. I like the music, but if you think it's too loud, let me know in the comments, so that way we can lower it and accommodate it, so that way it's not overtaking everything else. You know, my hope is that you can hear me well. All right, so we watch this one. We look at it. We're gonna look at a new piece, which is this. Now, you know, of course, there were not many figures to talk about this week, but we're gonna look at statues, and starting from the smallest. And I want to take you to PCS. We're not gonna go to PCS because technically this here, Cody and Guy, are technically the same as the one that they have over there. There's no special, there's no exclusive at the PCS store, so you can go anywhere and find it. Of course, this is the line that they started with, the Udon style, based on that, what was that, Street Fighter Street Jam art, that it was done, of course, by Udon, but Alvin Lee was the artist, that the main artist that did the whole spread, which is definitely up to this day is one of the most famous spreads. Beautiful art of the entire crew, and the whole crew, at least from at the time of the Alpha series. Now, of course, we got the new set, which is Cody, and they look amazing. Now, before we get, let me look at some of the details here. Maybe we can see some of that. Now, for this line, I haven't really had the opportunity to talk much about it. Of course, we haven't been doing videos, but there's a few that already are on pre-order. But of course, as you can see, the dimensions are not that big. It's only 7 inches tall. Again, it's 110, so it's not super big. If I'm not mistaken, these are made out of polystone, but very small figures, very small statues in comparison to others. But it looks good. Of course, if you know the art, if you've seen the art, it's kind of like they're kind of hidden. At least Cody is kind of hidden in the back. But they were able to kind of match it, and I want to give you an idea. Maybe we can look at it. Street Fighter. Just kind of give you an idea. If for some people have never seen the art or are unfamiliar with it. All right, Street Fighter, Street Jam poster. Maybe we can see it right here. This is on DeviantArt. That will give you an idea. Maybe we can look at it. Oh, right there. That gives you an idea. I think that is. Gives you the concept. Here you can see they're kind of hidden right there, sitting down. Maybe you can see it right there. You see Guy, and then you see Cody, and definitely this is the art that they're taking inspiration from. It looks, in my opinion, it looks great, and they're doing a fantastic job. There's many characters that they can take from, and they're already working on those characters, bringing them to life. And in my opinion, they are doing an amazing job, and it looks great. All right, so now going back to this, it looks great, of course, based on that art. Here, the dimensions is not that big. You can see that soda can is not really that big. Soda cans are not big. But that really tells you, like, definitely it's going to be a nice display. It's going to take a lot of real estate. Definitely, if you know the 1/10 scale, as you can see with the X-Men from the Iron Studios, once you start adding so many pieces together, then definitely you have to run, you're gonna run out of space. So if you're considering to collect all the series, which why not, then definitely it can be challenging to display them all together. But regardless, I think they have done a really fantastic job in bringing the art to life. Definitely represents the art, Udon art. And you know, it's not for everyone. Not everyone to collect something small. Not everyone loves the Udon art, you know, but I think it looks great. They have done a really fantastic job. And from the different angles, you can see very simple base. Of course, you have the trash can, the box that he's sitting in, but it's a black base, which is more classic from PCS. They do a lot of those. Music is just fine. Thank you, Eddie. Thank you for that. Thank you for letting me know. But yeah, it looks great. I think the most important thing, of course, is the price point. Very simple. The detail is kept to a minimum in some way. I think what really makes this shine, of course, is the paint job. But as you can see right there, $250. You know, it's 2 characters in one. You have 2 characters in this little diorama. So if you come to think of it, when you split them, there's like $125 each. Yeah, it's people would say maybe 200. And I totally get it. And I'm sure at some point, maybe you can find them for a good price. I don't think they're a number. So definitely they're going to be available in so many places. Not only you can find them here, you can find it at a Big Bad Toy Store. You can go to their website. Now, maybe we can give you an idea. Now looking at PCS, just to give you an idea for those who are unfamiliar or haven't seen the other pieces in this collection. Let's see right here with Street Fighter. We're going to look at the stuff they have done. Of course, these are the big stuff. You know, we have talked about several of these. And here you have the other one that was also released already in the series. So we got Cody and Guy. We also have Cammy, I'm sorry. My eyes are playing tricks with me right now. I'm tired too. Cammy and Birdie. This, the difference with the other ones, they're all one piece. This came separate, which is it's even good in the sense that you can actually display them in different ways. They're not attached, which makes it more complicated for you to display, because now you have to display in a certain way for all to fit in. You can arrange things. I think this is a bright idea that they did. It's a bright idea because now you're not limited. So you have to have risers in your collection in order to make this in a smaller space. You display as many as you can. Then definitely this helps a lot. I think it's pretty good. That Birdie is pretty big, and I love the sculpt on him. Of course, the position, of course, this is representing the art on the poster. So Cammy looks great the way she's doing it. So that is one. We also saw, and they have done the same for this other 2, Major Bison, Rolento. You know, they also come separate, which is good. And the price of those is $255. Now you got Ryu and Dan. Those also have the same concept, as you can see right there. They can sit together. Dan looks great. Or you can look at that face. Or you can display it. Like, it gives you an idea. Those pictures are kind of giving you an idea how to display them, which is fantastic in my opinion. As you can see, they're not that big. There's so many places you can do. And definitely that Ryu looks fantastic. Very nice. And definitely this is going to be, I think, probably one of the most popular because of the character itself. It's a nice choice. Really a nice choice there. And then, of course, we already saw those Akuma and Dalsim. And one thing I will tell you, they've been fast with this. They're really fast and furious about releasing these and having them on pre-order. There's so many of these pieces on pre-order. Akuma looks fantastic. Dalsim looks great. And again, these are also separate, which again is nice. And then you have this one, which was the first one they released, and now it's on the wait list. I think there's some of this, like you can see Ryu and Dan, they're on the wait list. Blank and Fei Long, they're also on the wait list, at least here at Sideshow. This is the first one that came out, which I think is fantastic. Fei Long and Blanca, of course, they are in a crate on a transformer, and they sit in there, and they look fantastic. I love the Blanca there, and they're one single piece because of the way they turn on display. So this is the one that is going to be the same with Cody and Guy. It's going to be more limited. At least you have to display it together. You cannot just move them around. Of course, you know, you can do whatever with your display, but you have to keep in mind that they're going to be separate. Again, this was on the wait list. So yeah, I would say PCS is doing really fantastic. Hey, Freaky, how you doing, my friend? Thank you very much. Thank you for tuning in. But yeah, this is really a really fantastic line. If you're into Street Fighter, back in the 90s, I love Street Fighter, one of my favorite games of all time. I spent so much time in the arcades. I'm still a big fan of Street Fighter, fighting games, all of that. I love it, and I'm super glad that PCS is doing this. Of course, they're also releasing the stuff, also the 110 stuff, of the stuff they're doing based on the Marvel vs. Capcom series. I'm pumped for that one as well. So this line is definitely one in my list, and definitely we're going to be collecting these, adding into, building these collections with all these amazing characters. So we'll see what happens. So kudos to them for doing that. All right, so it's time to move, and I want to take you, we're going to go to Spec Fiction. And again, thank you very much for tuning in. Don't forget to leave a like in the video and let me know that you're watching. And we're going to come back and forth with the Spec. You can see they also have Cody and Guy there for pre-order, but we're here because I want to cover, today, we're going to look about this new statue. This company, Galaxias, this is another thing that I want to talk about. It's the fact that we are seeing companies catering to the smaller scale. There was a time where it felt that the smaller scales were kind of forgotten, but companies are really coming back to it, and they come in with force. They're still not at the same level as I would say that they did before, but companies are really catering more. Even Prime One Studio now doing 1/6 stuff, all the other companies, but many companies are understanding the importance of the 110, 1/6, 1/7, 1/8, all this smaller scales. Iron Studios has been banking. I think one of the factors has been that Iron Studios have been very successful, so have shown that there's always a market for smaller stuff. Now, Galaxy is a company that just recently they went big. They started big with the big bronze statue by Joe Mena, Captain America bust, which is a piece of art, amazing piece, super expensive. Kind of give you an idea, I talked about it here on the channel before. Maybe we can see it right here. This bus is amazing. It's number only like 15 or so, 18, $12,000 for this. Amazing, by my good friend Joe Mena, who is an amazing sculptor. He did a fantastic job there. But this Magneto is on the other side of the spectrum. Instead of going super expensive, they're going cheap, or at least they're going into the more affordable route to cater to more people. Now it says right there, I'll come back to your question, squad. But here, when this Galaxias, as you can see with the Magneto, it's $140, which is not bad. This is a PVC statue, which also is amazing. I love the detail for a PVC statue. Looks so well done. The pictures that they posted on their Facebook, they really look great. It shows that the piece definitely has a very nice style. They definitely went with a Jim Lee concept. Some people would even point out and says, oh, this is kind of like a copy of the Kotobukiya Magneto, which I reviewed many years ago. An amazing Magneto statue, in my opinion, one of the best Magneto statues ever, because of course Eric Sosa captured the essence of Jim Lee in a way like no one else have done. And I can give you an idea, maybe we can see it. I'll give you an idea. Eric Sosa Magneto. Of course, there's been many Magnetos over time. He has done different versions also. The Marvel vs. Capcom, he has done a lot of different things over the years. Like I see, he has created some Magnetos for, these are also great. These are quite a scale stuff that he has done. But this is the one I'm talking about. Here's my video, actually my review of that. This is one of my first videos over like now 11 years ago. But this gives you an idea of this Magneto. Maybe we can see it better. Maybe we're gonna look at this one for those. That is, it captured, he captured that essence of that page of X-Men #1, the first spread out when you see Magneto. He captured in a way, like, in my opinion, is so perfect, such a perfect statue. One that I sold years ago. And to be honest with you, up to this, I keep myself for doing so, because I think it's still one of the best Magneto statues ever. And, and it was great quality for the time. Kotobukiya did a fantastic job, at least, which was rare during those years to have a great quality piece. That piece for me was perfect. I didn't have any imperfections on it, which I did with other pieces from Kotobukiya. But, maybe water under the bridge. It's been so many Magneto since, but he captured the essence of Jim Lee in a way that was really fantastic. I will say now with this piece, not saying that they were copying, because at the end of the day this is based on an art, but the pose definitely tells you that this is based on that art. It has that essence of the Jim Lee style, and perhaps a little bit of Eric Sosa in that regard. But Eric Sosa did not create that art, he was simply copying and he did it in a fantastic way. Now, I will say that the way he's angled, at least from this picture, it looks like he's kind of leaning on one side. I'm not sure that this is going to be fixed, because I don't like the little lean. At least I think it's just the effect that it shows through the picture. I wish he has an interchangeable portrait. That would have been nice, even without the helmet. That would be fantastic. But it looks great. It has that flow. And all the metallic, all the metal that has this bended to his power, that is a nice touch. It definitely, for a 1/8 piece, looks really neat. It's going to fit. Definitely as a 1/8 is within the realm of Bowen scale. So if you're a Bowen collector, perhaps this can fit there. The paint job is fantastic. I love the purple. It does have, of course, with Galaxias and this... Mufisal, which is actually the sculptor here. I think he's the sculptor. He's the one that I involved with this company, and they're giving it a more also modern touch. It does have that classic 90s feel, but with a modern touch, which is something that we see with a lot of companies in Asia. They do that. They kind of give it that vibe, like we see with XM Studios, a more modern feel in the way the uniform works. Some people are fans of that, some people are not. I personally wish it was more classic, or at least more 90s classic, if you call it that. I would be fine, but I'm not against to have detail and give her a different form. And this is the first starter. They call it the Desktop Supers by Galaxias. That's going to be a line that they're going to do with 1/8. So they're going to create a lot of this PVC statues as a 1/8 statues at this scale, which are smaller and you're easy to display in different places. I think it's great. I think it's a great start. They started with a great character. Like here again, like I was telling you about the little lean, which I'm not a fan of. Maybe they can fix that and make it a little more straight. Doesn't look like he's just kind of falling falling down, or something, like he's falling on one side. That looks more like a lean from some angles. I think maybe it's just the picture. It is great. I love the portrait. Definitely nice detail on that portrait, on the eyes, on the eyebrows. He has some thick eyebrows. The musculature, they apply this some really nice shading to the, and as a PVC statue, it really looks fantastic. It looks premium. It looks like it's polished stone, but it's PVC, and PVC can really do a lot of things. They're able to do a lot of things that sometimes it's impossible to do with some other, with polished stone. But yeah, it looks great. That the metal parts, all of that has, a little more detail and character. And that thing, definitely, that is something that we saw even on the Eric Sosa statue. They put the little metal part attached to his knee, to the side of his thigh, his leg, and it's cool. Nice pictures, definitely nice detail there, very cool. And again, very nice portrait. So I think they did a really nice job with that one. Now let me go back to the comments here. Started with Squad Captain. It says, I wonder if the black under bases are going to make it hard to display them all together. Yeah, are you talking about the PCS? Not sure. I don't think it's going to be a problem. And the reason why I'm saying that is because back in the day, I did collect the PCS stuff, the Street Fighter stuff, the quarter scale stuff, which I stopped doing many years ago. But I did collect the quarter scale PCS Street Fighter statues. And there was never a problem with the display. I always liked that those black simple displays they have, they were simple. Like, it was easier to put pieces together because they were not eyesores. They were not super big. You didn't have to worry about, okay, so how I'm going to shape this, because it feels like sometimes with statues, when they have all this weird different type of shapes, then it's like you're playing a jigsaw trying to find the perfect spot, and sometimes it doesn't really work that good because some bases are too big and they occupy too much space, so you got to put it in a certain angle if you have limited space, and then another statue that actually looks better on the other side, but you cannot fit it because it doesn't fit well. It takes more space. So I think with this rounder small black bases, it's simpler. It makes it a lot easier to display because they don't take that much rest, so you can actually move things around. You have risers, you can put on top of a riser. You can find risers for cheap, really. Acrylic risers, and you can do all sort of things. and they're not gonna be an eyesore. So I think the little black base is simple for 110 is perfect in my opinion. Now, such a great Magneto piece for such a appealing price. Yes, I think so too. It's a great piece. Now, how can he compare with a Bowen or not? It's a modern style. It's very cool. It's 1/8, so it's bigger than 110, which is fine. But it's gonna be with their dad. I think it's gonna be within the Bowen scale, so it may fit in so nicely. And being PVC means that you don't break the bank. Even the PVC stuff that other companies are producing is over $200, $300 nowadays, or even more. So $140 is a great starting point. And as they say, with Galaxias coming really strong, this is going to be the start from a collection that they're going to do a lot of. I'm guessing, I'm not sure it's going to be Marvel related. I hope there's more Marvel related characters. And let's see how far they can take it. So I would say keep an eye on this collection, keep an eye on this company. It has a strong backing. It has great directors. It has great people. They have the money to invest, and they really start strong. So we'll see how they take this, how far they go. This company is based in Hong Kong, if I'm not mistaken, or I think they're based in Singapore. I'm not sure exactly. I don't remember exactly where, but they're based in China, of course. And we'll see how far they take this, and we'll know for sure. So yeah, this is Galaxias again. Now, let's go back to Sideshow. And again, I want to say thank you very much for the comments. Appreciate you all. All right, so we're back at Sideshow. Let me drink some water. Oh, wow, that water's good. It's cold water. I love some cold water. All right, my friends, let's talk about Kotobukiya. And I want to talk about this piece. There's a couple that we're going to talk about it, but the first one, or the one that they announced the most, is the Angel. This is from the King of Fighters series. This is based, of course, on the video game by SNK for the Neo Geo and all. At least when Angel came out later after the Neo Geo existence. But still the company, SNK, Neo Geo, they all people think about them together. This is a very sexy figure, of course, because this is what the Bishoujo line does. And it's amazing to think, when you think about Kotobukiya, after all these years, this company continues to be the most successful line that they have. From all the lines that they ever had, and they have, when you have to consider about the lines that they have what they call the Artifacts, the Artifacts Plus, the ARTFX-J. The Artifacts regular was always a 1/6 scale, kind of 1/7, 1/6 scale. Bigger pieces for, in this case, PVC. The Artifacts Plus was a smaller, kind of more like within the 110. Then they have the ARTFX-J, which is another one that they still continue, which is mostly based almost the 10 or the 6 or 7 or whatever, but it's mostly based on characters, on anime, anything that comes from Japan. And of course now, and then the Bishoujo, which is technically within 1/8 or I think 1/9, something like that. But no 1/6, a little smaller than 1/6. But Bishoujo has been probably the most successful line that they have ever done, and continue to produce, and they continue to sell, and they sell well. This is $130. I remember when Bishoujo were like $50 or less, but we don't live there anymore in those times. Definitely this girl has, ties. But if you know the video game, then of course, the Bishoujo kind of is stylized this. The pretty girl style that they use, which Bishoujo means pretty girl. And that's what they do. They stylize it. It's only 8 inches tall, which is not big. And definitely she has a lot of back, as you can see. But, I like another thing about the Bishoujo. I remember the Bishoujo lines, the bases were very boring or simple. No word to look at, but they've been improving those bases as they go. And it looks good, for those, which is amazing to me that people still collect this line and they still going strong. And of course, they don't have a collectible or a line. They can produce so many of any type of licenses. They have a Bishoujo. Of course, they go for those little girls. And as you can see, a lot of appeal on this one for sure. For those who are into these figures. I think this one has a lot more appeal than some others that they have produced for sure. Maybe my wife killed me like she looks at it, but yeah. Really cool concept, as you can see, and pretty much it's just different angles. All we're seeing is her truck. All we see is the ham. But now looking at this company, of course, let me take you to because we haven't really talked about Kotobukiya in some time. We're gonna look at some of the new stuff that they have on pre-order. just to give you an idea, here's a lot of things that they have. Some stuff is on sale. So, you know, the array of things that they do is there, but we're going to look at the newest stuff. Here you can see, of course, the Angel is the newest, but they got this other figures, as you can see, many figures from all different things. Like we got this one right here, this Freerin. I don't know exactly what this is based on. This is from the Freedom Beyond Journey's End, which I'm guessing is an anime. And very nice detail on that base, of course, with the flowers. I totally don't know anything about this anime, so don't expect me to tell you, oh my, this is a great anime, because I never seen it. But this is $180, and it's a 1/7 scale statue, so it's not that small. Even bigger than that Magneto that we just saw. And then you have Delta Ed version. This is also for another anime, which is the Eminence and Shadow. This is another thing that you can see. All these different concepts that they do for anime fans. And I like to, you know, I will tell you one thing. One thing that I do like about anime statues, in comparison to the more Western franchises, is that this they do have a lot of, they're very bold, and you know, they're not afraid. The Japanese are not afraid to express and present beauty the way they do it. That sometimes it's more tame, and it seems that sometimes for the American market, particularly with heroines and, you know, women, they try to present them sexy but mostly more tame, more like manly in some way, which the Japanese are not afraid to present the sexy side of things, and it's good in certain things. Of course, I don't want things to go overboard, because sometimes some companies, particularly a lot of custom makers, they make something that is technically you going into the line of porn. You're presenting porn statues, and I don't think these are considered that way. You know, I don't see it that way. I think that they're more on the sexy side. The beauty of it represent the art, the art that they are inspired from. And I don't even know which one this the Sky Striker Ace. This is, of course, I don't know. I don't know what it is. Sky Striker Ace Rose statue. I think it's just maybe a video game. This is developed celebrate the 25th anniversary of the Yu-Gi-Oh. Okay, Yu-Gi-Oh, which I never really cared much about. This is a character from that anime and from the card series for those who collect Yu-Gi-Oh. Then you got this Persona 3, and this is another one. This is from My Hero Academia. This is if I was an ARTFX-J, which this line has been really good too. I think this whole line that they built around this My Hero Academia, they have built a lot of these different figures, and definitely this one also has a backtrack for sure, which is something inspiring there, I guess. 9.45 inches tall, and it's gonna fit with the others on this particular line. Very nice. I think they did a fantastic job with this one. A very playful one. Very cool. And we have seen some of the other statues that they have produced here for the other characters. So I think it's great that they keep building this particular collection. $180. Again, you know, we see these prices nowadays. It blows my mind to see what these pieces that one time were like the most $79 or so. And there's another one here. You can see there's plenty. Like, you can see so many different ones that they have. Of course, the Bishoujo, like the Darkstalkers one right there, with Spider-Wen, that's another one great. Then you have you like, look at this Mikasa right there, Eren. The Siri Bishoujo, those are on the wait list. So yeah, they've been popular with all these different statues, like Starscream Bishoujo on the wait list. You know, the Bishoujo line, they do whatever, you know. They are not afraid. The Suki Midoriya right there. This is from the ARTFX-J. That is kind of cool. But let's look at probably this one right here. This is Vermilio. This is the Empire's 4 Elite Lords. This is another anime. This is another one that is very striking because of the way they chose the flames. Very nice way to portray the powers, 10 inches. And this is the thing with a lot of the art, in this case with the Kotobukiya lines, that the scales are different. It could be a 1/10, it could be a 1/8, a 1/7. They all have different sizes. So you have to collect that particular line to be within the scale. So always look at the, just because something look good, it might not fit in with the others. Always look at the name or the collection that it is based on. Whether it's an ARTFX Plus, ARTFX-J, and or where there is a Bishoujo, they all share different lines, and even sometimes they had anime statues, or they call it anime statues with a no line. They may come with a different scale, so always look at the measurements. That's the only way to know if it's going to fit, if you're trying to build something that is symmetrical, all within the same scale. So yeah, I just wanted to point that out at this moment. Normally I don't get the opportunity to do a lot of it, but definitely Kotobukiya is a company that is still in the game. Yes, I wish they would emphasize the fine art statue line, which kind of did by now. We know that the Kuchari brothers were supposed to kind of take charge of it, and they did, and they released the we saw when they released the recently the Deadpool and the Cable, and there were plans about doing a what was that, a Ghost Rider. I'm not sure exactly whatever happened to that. There was even plans to do a Gambit at some point, and we haven't heard anything in years, so I'm not sure if it's a new Gambit. I'm not sure if they're gonna continue on. I'm hoping that this year, of course, after the pandemic, kind of companies went dormant in some way. They were producing, a lot of companies were producing just the stuff that they normally do. But I'm hoping that with this new year, this year, maybe we're able to see some of those lines that they've been kind of dormant. The fine art statue line, one of them, and we're able to see that for 1/6 scale collectors to see more Marvel stuff and so on some other lines. So yeah, it's kind of cool. What Kotobukiya is doing. Let me drink a little more water so we can move. All right, my friends, as we are here at Sideshow, let's continue on, because the night is long in some way, but there's a lot to cover. It's kind of short and young, but let me go back to where we started. Look at those bookends, the gates of Argonaut. They just set them up there. They look kind of cool. I don't even know who's making those. If you're liking to, it's Nemesis now. Really cool. If you're like, that's something that's actually selling a lot of stuff nowadays. But in the art prints, I normally don't cover those art prints. This Albedo, I think this is from I don't remember which company is doing it, but we're not gonna cover it today. We're gonna skip it for now. But what I want to really cover today is right here. And I saw the Beetlejuice. I think it's coming on pre-order maybe next week. Maybe next week. We'll see it. We'll talk about it when that Beetlejuice hits the store. But I want to talk about Pegasus 2.0. This is from Star Ace Toys. This company, Star Ace Toys, this is the second version that they have done of the Pegasus. That's the reason it says Pegasus 2.0. And I'll tell you, this looks fantastic. This is based on the art of Ray Harryhausen, and this is of course on the film The Clash of Titans, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, The Clash of the Titans. Yeah, that was in 1981, a classic film. And this line, of course, Star Ace Toys has been doing the monsters and the creatures that, for those who are unfamiliar, I kind of give you an idea. Ray Harryhausen is it's kind of weird, celebrating the 100th anniversary of his life, or his birthday or something. He passed away many years ago. I think it's been a while. But Ray Harryhausen, it's an iconic figure because he is the one that he was one of the pioneers of stop motion cinema. Many films that they were done back in the day, in the really golden age of cinema. Where a lot of these monster creatures, he did so many short films, so many that are classic, and for many he became a godfather of stop cinema, and also from props and things that they were done for film way before CGI happened. So Ray Harryhausen is so respected and loved because what he did, he set a foundation for so many the foundation from Hollywood, and so many of his movies are just classic. So here you can see this is one of them. The new Pegasus. Now, to give you an idea, this is the second version. Let me see if I can show you the first one. Maybe we can see an image of it. Star Ace Toys Pegasus. Let's see. Give you the first version is right here. $289, sold out. This is the first version that was done by them. Now this one, there were two different versions as always, but we're looking at the, not the collectors, but the deluxe version. This one, if I'm not mistaken, well, the collector's edition was made out of, the statue itself was vinyl, but the deluxe version, it's a statue that is made out of, in this case, of polystone. And it did have some type of wings, for like real wings, which I wasn't crazy about it. Very nice statue for it, the moment when it went for sale. I think not really long ago. Really cool. And there you, of course, they got this little, if you remember the film, you know, this is the head of Medusa, and this is Bubo. I think that's what it's called. This is the little owl, which is kind of cool. If you know the film, you know the film. And I recommend you to watch it. Of course, it hasn't, you know, aged well, but it's still a classic. So this was fantastic for when it went out. You know, this is the first version, not a bad looking version. However, the new version that we have now, it's far superior in my opinion. It is fully sculpted. It is a fully sculpted statue, which in my opinion makes it a lot better. Look at that. And I love the pose that they went for. Very nice statue. This is a 1/6 scale statue. So it does have height. It's at 18.11 inches tall. Of course, this is going to be taller because of the position. I love the base. A lot better than the other one. The detail there is so good. It's 45 centimeters tall. Will be the measurement if you go for the metric system. It comes with a bubo, as in the film, as the other one had it. And it's just a fantastic choice. I think this is superior. I love that the wings this time around are fully sculpted. Even better. Now this person's standing in the back. It is a 1/6. It's not a big horse. You know, it could be even bigger, or the horse, but they went with a very nice, almost half a meter tall. It's very nice. It does have, as far as I know, it has light up features, I think. As you can see right there, which is very, very nice. So definitely, this is not for everyone. This is for the ones who love cinema, those that like this type of mythical characters, and they're big fans of Harry. In this case, for Ray Harryhausen, I think this is definitely a good statue to have. And there's people that are collecting, of course, in the celebration after the 100th birthday, 100th anniversary. One of the most iconic directors or stop motion creators that ever existed. So it's a very nice depiction. Let me see if I can show you more pictures here. This one, for example, the Pegasus, the flying horse, and all some of the other monsters that they have shown, the Medusa in the back. It is a nice statue. I think the light transformation effects, what you can see, very nice. I'm not sure how they're going to operate those light features. I don't see it. A light up feature basically immerse yourself in the magic as the soft glow emanates from beneath, creating a captivating ambience reminiscent of the fantastical world brought to life by Ray Harryhausen. So I'm not sure if it's gonna use a batteries. It doesn't really say, or is going to use, you know, you can connect it via USB. I don't see it there. Maybe I'm skipping it but I don't see the information there. Or it's gonna use stick batteries. Who knows? But so far it looks good. It's a nice sculpt. I think it's a better version of the original. I think this is perhaps the superior one. So that is pretty neat. All right, my friends, thank you very much again for spending time here with me. Don't forget to leave a like if you're watching this. I appreciate it. Subscribe to the channel. You're here for the first time too. All right, my friends. So now we're going to go into another statue, into other statues, and I want to talk about an important one, which I want to come, actually, I'm going to take you, and this is one of the big ones for the night, which in this case, we're going to go to, my man went blank for a second, Tweeterhead. Let's talk about Tweeterhead. This is the piece that I've been really excited to talk about this week, because, oh, okay, I think I went to the search bar in the wrong place. All right, let's do it here. All right, so let's go to Tweeterhead, because actually you can order this through a Big Bad Toy Store. You can order this piece This Skeletor and Panthor, you can order them through Sideshow, but if you come to Tweeterhead, you have an exclusive. The exclusive comes with an interchangeable portrait, which is more of a classic style portrait. So that's the place to do it. It would be here at Tweeterhead on the official website. And I recommend you. I love Tweeterhead. I have dealings with them. I have ordered pieces from Tweeterhead and also from Sideshow of Tweeterhead. And my experience ordering from Tweeterhead has been better than my experience ordering stuff from Sideshow. That's just the way it is. But then you're dealing with the manufacturer, of course. Now, if you look at this Tweeterhead, and I saw that they were posting this on Instagram, it's almost sold out, or more than half. There's 250. I would say sold out, but they were saying, they posted on Instagram that more than half of the what they have there for the exclusive is almost sold out, which is a good number. They have sold out many, and so if you really want to have the exclusive, this is the time to do it. $950 is going to ship in the fourth quarter of 2024. Of course, that's always subject to change. And again, this is the one that comes. One thing I love about Tweeterhead is also the price that they do. They do have a flex pay system. You pay $50 and there's divided into 10 equal payments. I used the flex pay before too, so I know it's good. Or you can pay in full. If you pay in full, you get a $50 discount on the retail price, so that's great. And another thing that I like about the shipping cost, I'm not sure how they're going to do the shipping. Before, they used to have a flat rate. I think they still do the flat rate. I don't know how much the flat rate is going to be right now. It says United States flat rate, bill at time of shipping. So anywhere in the United States is going to be the same. It used to be that you only pay like $30 back then. At least the last one that I ordered from them. I'm not sure how it's going to be now because, of course, this is going to be a massive piece. It might be, but it's not going to be a difference. Everyone is going to be rated the same. The international flat rate also, they offer that bill at time of shipping. I'm guessing everyone is going to get the same. Let's look at some additional information here. I want to give also credit to the artists. Guillermo Barbiero, designer and the sculptor. He did the He-Man and the Battle Cat. Guillermo Barbiero is amazing. He's an amazing guy. He's a very down-to-earth, very humble. I've talked to him several times on social media. I haven't had the opportunity to talk to him in person, but I have talked to him privately, or at least on social media, through Messenger, things like that. Fantastic guy. I admire him, down to earth, but he, in my opinion, one of the best sculptors of this time. One of the best sculptors. Does amazing work. David Ige, of course, he's a phenomenal art director. Also a great sculptor. He has done such an amazing job over the years with this career, with Sideshow for many, many years. And of course, what he's doing with Tweeterhead, I think he's phenomenal. He's doing an amazing job. You also have Ariel Mora Remis. He is great. Also a great sculptor. He helped here too. And then on the paint, we have Skull Sildner and Liz Maggie. They did a fantastic job. Now, let's look at the pictures here, because this is what we're looking at. Now, if you have seen this one, I wanted to order this one. That was my plan. Unfortunately, the plan didn't work out so good, and ultimately, I couldn't order it. Like, you have so many things to order, and sometimes you kind of go for this and that, and kind of miss the boat on He-Man. But I will get that He-Man eventually. That's for sure. I will get it eventually. I thought it will last, but it sold out very quickly too. I thought it will last a lot longer because of the price point, because it was big and things like that. But it seemed that regardless, it's sold out. So I think the same thing. The problem, I kind of feel like doing this, but at the time I don't want to do this because of the price point. Right now, I try to be better and choosing what I'm doing. I would like to have He-Man first. I just ordered recently the Skeletor from Mundo. That's a phenomenal figure. I love that figure. It's amazing. So if you haven't watched that video, go to the links and find that video. It's a phenomenal and definitely the best figure ever. Perhaps, in my opinion, was the best figure, the best 1/6 scale figure of 2023. It was the best figure of last year for sure. All right, so I love what they chose here. It's so classic. They went with the very classic body, the classic Panthor. Everything looks amazing. This is the exclusive that comes with this, which is this portrait, which looks so menacing. It looks fantastic with those red eyes. I saw some people complaining about the portrait, saying that it wasn't accurate, and I'm sorry, it does have those red eyes, which are very iconic from the mini comics too. I like the red eyes. They went for the more likeness with the toy. They kind of give it that vibe with the red eyes too. There's a couple differences, of course. It doesn't have the green that the toy had. It's fine. In that it's just a massive looking piece for sure. And that base really works so great. And I love the musculature of Panthor. He looks such a huge cat. That is a nice face, nice portrait. The whole body is so well done. It's such a perfect looking statue. Really nothing to nitpick. Even the paint job is excellent. I like the look that they did with the fur of the animal. It looks great. The eyes, the blue, I think it's perfect. They didn't complicate themselves. There's some shading, but they went with the classic bluish color. Minimum detail. They didn't add a lot of. Sometimes, of course, they modernize things, the look, but they are going with the more classic toy look, and that is the way you do it. I like it. I do like it. Such a phenomenal piece, and it's going to be massive, super massive. The ultimate representation of Skeletor in statue form, in my opinion. Of course, if you look at the bus, also that was owned by Kotobukiya, by Tweeterhead, or you're looking at the statues, they have done fantastic too. But for my choice, the perfect representation of these two characters is like this. This is the perfect display, in my opinion. He-Man with Battle Cat, Skeletor with Panthor. What else do you need? You don't need anything else. I think that is the perfect, the ultimate, the most iconic way to represent these characters in this battle mode. And the way they fighting right there, that's the way to pin them together. That's the way to display them together. Looks massive. It's such an amazing looking piece, man. I'm just looking at it and I'm just kicking myself for not having Battle Cat and He-Man. It's just gorgeous. It's a gorgeous piece. And I'm sure that I could find it. I will find it at some point. That's what I'm hoping that I can find it. That is my desire, to be able to find it. Such a gorgeous looking piece. And here you can see, to be honest with you, that extra portrait, it's fine. I like it. I like how it looks. Very classic looking. But that maniac portrait of the regular one that you can find with the one that you can find anywhere else, I don't know how many they're going to release for those. I didn't even check on Sideshow. We can go to Sideshow in a moment to see how many they have, if they have a number. We know that they only have 250 on the vintage portrait. But that maniac laugh, the way he's doing it is so iconic. I like the portrait on the classic one, on the vintage one, but I think the maniac look of him, you know, the way he's ready, like careless going into battle, that is just, to me, Skeletor. That is definitely Skeletor for me. So even if you don't get the chance to get the vintage and you only get the other one, you're more than well served. You have the perfect alternative. You have the perfect display, in my opinion. It looks fantastic. You know, it doesn't need anything else. I was thinking, what else can you add to it to make it even better? A cape, perhaps? But yeah, cape would have been good too. Maybe just even like, but just as it is, it's just a perfect look. Very nice. Very nice. They did a fantastic job. So I would say kudos to in this case, to the company. Kudos to Tweeterhead for doing an amazing job once again. To all the guys there, I tip my head off. Always, you amaze me with what you do. Always ready to do the best, and you did it this time around. The best statue, one of the best statues in my opinion this year, and definitely is going to give a lot of other statues the run for the money. So we'll see. It's such a beautiful piece for sure. All right, so my friends, let me know in the comments what you think about this Skeletor and on Panthor. Are you a fan? You're not a fan? Let me know in the comments below. So let me look at some of the comments here. We have Mitchell. Hey, I have the Ray Harryhausen Deluxe Kraken. I love Motu, but I'm only getting Twitter hits. The Sorceress and Evelyn from the Legends line. Okay, I get, you know, totally understandable. That Legends line is amazing too. I love what they do with the Legends line, but I haven't been collecting that line. So I think it's too late to kind of jump into it. But I love some of the statues that they do, and I like the fact that they have something for everyone. And Tweeterhead is a company that, in my opinion, does so many things. But everything they do it well. Of course, they have the superpowers line. They have the Motu line with different variations. They're diversifying some of those lines into where there is the bus line, where there is the bigger statues, or where there's the smaller scale statues. And I think that's great. What else can this company produce? you know, only time can tell. There's a lot of things that this company can do, but I like it that in comparison to other companies, like for example, when we talk about PCS, which I love PCS, but PCS has right now a big portfolio of brands or things that they're doing, which could be good and could be bad, particularly when you have so many things to do. You don't have the quality for everything, or at least you're going to drop the ball in something. I think Tweeterhead, although they have a lot of things, they're trying to keep the vision in some of those lines, or at least within those franchises, to produce different things within those franchises, but give you the best options possible. And I think they're doing it. They're doing it well so far with the Superpowers line, and definitely with the Master of the Universe. So far, everything they have done with Master of the Universe has been great. So we'll see what else they can produce. And of course, we already seen some of those hints, some of those teasers about upcoming things that are going to be on pre-order. So we'll see what's next. But yeah, so far I'm excited with what they're doing, and definitely the Sorceress, Evelyn look amazing. A couple of things we're going to point out when it comes out, because of course people are pointing out some differences on the way. They're taking some liberties that are not necessarily in tune with what they, at least with the classic style. But when the time comes, when they're fully revealed, and then we'll talk about those things. All right, my friends, let me take a break, but we're coming back. We still gotta talk about other companies. Definitely we cover a good ground right now, great companies. But we're going to talk about, when I come back, we're going to talk about First for Figures. We're going to cover Lladró, this company from Spain. We're going to talk Espada Art. We're going to talk about Gatherer's Tavern. And of course, we're going to talk about the big thing from the night is going to be Sideshow. We have the Pulp Vixens, but also we're going to talk about Superman, in my opinion, in reference to the teaser that we got. And ultimately, we're going to talk about Legendary Beasts. So we have some companies and definitely some big hitters that we need to cover. So give me a few minutes and I'll be right back. Thank you, my friends. Hey, my friends, how are you, everyone? How's everybody? Thank you for the time. You know, a little break that we took. But we're back on the horse, so we can talk about more collectibles. You know, we can cover more ground with the stuff. As I mentioned earlier, that we had covered some good ground, some great companies. Again, as I always do, there will be timestamps tomorrow. That for those who don't have the opportunity to watch the entire video and you skip a couple of things or you didn't have the opportunity, you can always come back and watch it. But I want to say to all of you, thank you very much. Do not forget to leave a like, to subscribe if you're here for the first time, you like the content of this channel, and let me know what you think about the stuff that we're covering tonight. And let me know whether you do it here live or whether you do it down the road when you're watching the video. Leave it on the comments. I always reply to the comments. But we have to talk. I want to go back to my list, and I want to take you to another company. We are here. We just covered Tweeterhead. I'm gonna take you to. Bear with me. We're gonna go to first 4 figures. Now, this you can actually go also to the website Sideshow. You can do it at Spec Fiction. You can do it anywhere else. Big Bad Toy Store. I don't think they have it at Spec Fiction. I may be wrong, but I want to cover this new statue, this Knuckles statue. This is from the Sonic the Hedgehog 2 film, the Knuckles Standoff exclusive edition. Of course, if you go to the other places, you get the regular version. There's 2 different versions. This is based on the film. If you are a fan, of course, of the film, you're a fan of, you know, they did a fantastic job. I love the second film. It's even crazier than the first one. I like both. I loved what they did in order to for the character. I think it's a fantastic film, and I think the second one was even overboard crazy with all the different things, of course, everything to respect the source material. To the video game. But of course, this is the version that you're gonna find everywhere else. Now, the exclusive version comes with light-up features. It costs a little more if you go to First Figures. You pay $344, almost $350. There's a $25 discount for early pre-order gift that they normally do. You pre-order within the window of time, then they'll give you that discount. It's a good way to do it. And to be honest with you, if you're gonna go for the one, then just why not go for the one that has the nice light-up feature. You have a month to pre-order, and then you get that $25 off. And looking at this, it's such a fantastic looking representation. That light-up feature looks fantastic. Of course, I'm not sure if it's gonna be as bright as that, but hey, you know, why not? That's how you envision, in my opinion. I can see Knuckles. Very cool, very well done. I don't think there's any interchangeable parts on this. But at every angle, I think it looks fantastic. I think one of the pictures is more brighter. This is darker. Oh, it's because they're showcasing that with the light-up feature, how it look. You can still see some of the red eyes. And without it, I think it looks cool either way. But those light-up features make those eyes bright and red. That is very, very cool. I like how they did it. Very nice paint job. This company is a phenomenal company, I would say. They do amazing work. First Figures, I have great respect for the company. Of course, they've been through ups and downs and criticism, primarily from social media, all that. But I think they have done a really terrific job. And they're true to it. You know, they're true to what they do. And that's always good. They're not deviating into something they're not. They have always been into the gaming stuff, and that's what they do, and they're good at, and definitely they do amazing stuff. Of course, this is based on a film that is technically based on a video game, and it's pretty much the same design as the video game. So I think it is a great company that deserves a lot of respect. So First Figures, nice job once again. You're doing amazing work. All right, so let me take you back to Sideshow. Because this is when I saw this piece, in my opinion, that as soon as I saw it, here you see the Skeletor also there. That's the regular version. But I want to talk about this here, Stormtrooper. And I saw it and wait a minute, this is a porcelain statue. Now, yeah, there's a company that has been in business for a long time, one of the oldest porcelain makers in the world. They are based in Spain. They're a Spanish company. That's where the word comes. People call it Lladró, but the real way to say it is Lladró. That's how you say it, to pronounce it. Lladró is a company that has been in business for a long time. But this is all porcelain. And people would say, how the heck you gonna pay almost $2,300 for a porcelain statue that is so fragile? Now, there's porcelain to porcelain. There's cheap porcelain, there's high-end porcelain. And it's not a simple way to make porcelain. It's a process that is laborious. You can mechanize it, and you can go in the more mechanized system that they use in China, for example, or the more artisanal, the more artistic artisan style that is used and crafty style that is used from those companies that they've been doing it for a long time. So yeah, this is more expensive because of it. And also because Lladró is a company that has such a reputation and has been known as high-end. So yeah, they're going to mark it up and they're going to sell it at some point. This is not for everyone. Let me be very clear. This is for people who are fans of Lladró, who they've been collecting Lladró stuff for many years, and they love to collect that because the serialized stuff that they offer, the people that they have the means for it, you know, which is almost not everyone. Because on the scale size, I think it's within the quarter scale, looking at dimensions wise. And if you look at it, it looks really good. You know, it shines nice, but all those little details, and I don't think it's a quarter scale at all. I think it's smaller than that. But it's a porcelain statue. It's all it is. And it's super limited, if I'm not mistaken. Let's see if we can look at the number there. We gotta do it. Let's see if we can see more details on this one. All right, so this, of course, it gives information about the piece itself. Here are pictures. This is for the people who have the means for this kind of thing, and they are willing to pay that type of money. Not for everyone, again. But the height is 15. It's a little higher than 1/6, so I would say maybe within 12 will be like a 1/6. So this is more like a 1/5, perhaps, sorta. So it still look good. Like when I look at the detail, they did a really nice job. For a porcelain statue, has great detail. And yeah, it's not for everyone. But let me see if we can go to Lladró collectible company. It's celebrating the 70th anniversary. Art porcelain sculptures. This is, you can see. And this is gonna be, they have a small window of time. It says premiere only until March the 1st, and after that there are no more. They close the sale of this. That kind of give you an idea. But this company, what they have done over the years, the art is high-end porcelain. This company definitely, it's, you know, again, it's not for everyone. It's a company that has been in business for a long time, and high-end collectors love to collect the stuff from this company. And here you can see a history of Lladró. It tells you everything about the company. I have talked about them in the past. They've been highly criticized by people that don't understand how this collectible of the porcelain works, how they started this company, how they evolved from, you know, very artistic style. And porcelain is hard to really work on. It requires a really high skill, but they did a fantastic job. And definitely they have boutiques, art galleries where you can find them. So this is for the people who are artsy, that are willing to pay the money. They have, you know, the means for something like this. Again, it's not for everyone, but they had, like, as you can see, high-end porcelain sculptures of all sort of ways. And again, they're super expensive, super limited in you know, so not for everyone. Let me see, go back to this Stormtrooper. Maybe we can get more information about it. Here you can see the manufacturing of this piece. Again, this is by artisans who are working by hand. This is not manufactured in China. It's no mass manufacture in a way. It is artistically done by porcelain makers. Its maze in glazed white porcelain. Black was chosen as the main color for the decoration, with some touches painted in gray tones. The piece comes with a base featuring an identifying plaque and its edition number. And they have done other porcelain statues. For example, they do this. which people already kind of going through this line. The Ahsoka, Grogu, Rey. You go there, of course. It tells you the price. Again, super limited. I don't even know how many they have or how many they're going to produce. I think these figures are smaller in scale, or they were at some point. And here's this, the sculptor. It's also presented here is Eva Maria Cuerva. That is the person that do it. The weight is 3.42 pounds. It's not really that heavy. It's going to be limited to 1,138 units. And it's insured. So it's going to have a lot of things. It's great. Now, don't get me wrong on this. I'm not justifying the price here. I'm not saying, oh, this price is deserving. I'm not saying that this piece, you know, like, oh, you need to suck it up and this is what they need to pay for it. But I understand the value of things. I understand the demand of certain things and why some people, some companies have this reputation. Yeah, there's a company well known in Spain, but well known in the world of porcelain makers. It's highly sought out by high-end collectors, by people who want to decorate whatever, and they want to have the means for something like this. It's unique. Do I think the price is fair? No, I don't think so. Do I think that I would pay something if I have $2,000? I would invest it on that? No. If I have $2,000, I buy just the statue that we just saw with the Panthor and Skeletor and save myself $1,000 in the process too. You know, and that does not like I can invest it in something else. But I understand why some people who have collected Lladró for a long time they like, and there's always a market for everything. So people who love that. And Sideshow, of course, sells products nowadays, sells almost everything. So, you know, it is there in the market. And we're not going to create a here like, oh, you know, they're trying to rob you. They're trying to stiff, you know, customers and collectors, which I don't think that's the case. If you know Lladró, you know that that's the way they sell this stuff. The price point of the whatever they sell is always high. And that's just because there's their name. That's what they sell. And it's like you buying Louis Vuitton, you know, that you're buying something, you might find something cheaper that looks nice, but people like just to buy the brand, and that's how it is here too. All right, so that is what we wanted to cover with the Lladró stuff. Now we're gonna go another company. This is a company that I haven't really talked about it maybe once. Small company, but definitely another company that also deserves some attention. For that, we're going to go back to Big Bad Toy Store because that's where I saw it. And we're coming, hopefully we can see it here. Hopefully they have it on the page if I haven't moved it yet. So, okay, so they don't have it here. I think they constantly, that's the thing, they constantly moving stuff because they have so much stuff. But I'm going to find it for you. This is another statue that went on pre-order by Espada Art. Now, Espada Art is a company, here you can see. This company is a company that is it's actually an American company that does Japanese and manga stuff. They're a small company, a small studio. I talked about them before. The Espada Art, they're based in America. I think they're based in California. It's a small studio, but there are not many studios in America that they do Japanese or manga or anime art. There's not many. There's a lot in Europe. There's a big fan base there. Even companies like there's a big demand in Latin America. But you know, the most companies you got to go Asia, Japan, there's companies there. But in America, there's not many companies doing, only a few. And Espada is one of them, you know, and even as a small studio, they are working in a lot of 1/8 stuff, it's really small stuff. They were doing a lot of stuff that you can hang on the wall. A lot of the statues that you see right here, the one scale that they were doing for a long time. We talk about them here. A lot of these are like wall statues, which is an interesting concept. But primarily, they have concentrated on 1/8. They have done 1/6. That's all the stuff that you can see here is 1/6, 1/8. Now, they are going in a new direction. They're going into the quarter scale. And they just released their first quarter scale piece, which is the fairy tale Natsu Dragneel statue. And this is, again, a quarter scale statue. This is the first line that the first piece on the line that they have for quarter scale. And it's interesting. Now, when I'm looking at it, I think other companies doing a better job in representing. There's more stuff. Of course, the price point is higher. A lot of companies do amazing work. So, but I think they trying to compete. They're bringing something new, and it's good to see companies. They call it this the Kitsune statue, which is technically their line that they're building. And I think it looks great. I think they went for a nice pose. The portrait is not bad. Definitely he's in that fight mode. I think you know is the character, maybe some work can be done. There's something that is kind of off about his portrait, in my opinion. They went that resin that they're using, clear resin, looks fine. I have no issue with it. I like that they went for the clear resin. I think it's nice. I'd rather like that they do the clear resin than the painted resin that some companies do, like they did with the Wonder Woman. Tweeterhead did with the Wonder Woman. I think this is the way to go. Very clear, very nice. I'm not sure if it has a light-up feature, but it's a very nice way to represent the power. It looks really neat. It looks like real fire. Well, if it's a little plasticky, a little ambery, but it looks better than just having a painted stone, polished stone. So it looks good. I think they did have fantastic. Now when I look at the face from different angles, I can see the face. Definitely he's angry. They base it, I think, mostly on the manga rather than the anime, which is good. I can see the inspiration mostly on the manga. Very nice base. Nice detail. Even though the pictures here are not the greatest, to be honest with you. Here you can see the dimensions, the height. And they also have it like in French because also they're trying to sell this in Europe. So they have the little French. So I'm sure they're trying to hit that market because, again, there's a big market in France. There's a big market in Europe for this, for these pieces. Of course, we have a lot of French companies. So definitely they're doing some really nice stuff. Now, let me take you, kind of give you an idea. We're going to go to Facebook. So you can see more about this company. Right there, we come into their page. And here you can see Espada art. Again, they've been doing the 1.8 stuff. They've been doing all this stuff. There was last year, they did have to cancel one of their 1.6 projects, unfortunately. But they've been doing, the small stuff. That's what you've been seeing right here from this company. Some really cool items like this 1.8. Look at this one. Luffy looks interesting, and this is a wall piece. Very interesting concept. It's unique. So the company, it's known for what they're doing. Very nice detail here with the Luffy, the hat. But they've been doing from other different lines, other things. So it's interesting what they're doing as a company. And you gotta give support to these companies. Now, Kitsune statue here. Well, what happened is this. Like, let's just put in point. Espada art and Kitsune statue, they're actually working together on this piece. Here you can see Kitsune is another company in France. Well, I think they are in France and they're doing the quarter scale. So this is technically a partnership that they have, this company or this division. I'm not sure exactly what Kitsune is doing, but Kitsune is like, here you can see the video with the Natsu here. It's a very nice video. And I think this is the first statue that they're producing, but they are distributed also by Espada Art. So this is a partnership that they do have. And that's the reason why they don't right now they expand it. I'm not sure because there's a lot of things that unknowns about this company in the sense that if it's because they have this relationship or they're actually the same company, but one is a French company, the other one is an American company, but they're working together. So it's cool. Maybe we can see more of the photos here, better photos. I was trying to look. They have done other things if I'm not mistaken, and there's a lot of distribution also between Kitsune. Maybe we can see the pictures here. I don't know if you can see it. I'm trying to find them. That's not what I wanted, but hey, I think we pressed the wrong thing. Yeah, I think I pressed the wrong thing. Okay. Here, there's statue videos. So some stuff that they've been showcasing recently, as you can see. Very new company. but a company that definitely we need to keep an eye on. I think there's not much going on there. They have some stuff that they have showcased. But it's mostly, you know, like the artists showcasing. And they had stuff in the past. I can see that some stuff that I wasn't aware of. But it's very, as a studio, they're doing. So going back to, let's see, we can go back to what they're doing here. This collaboration between these companies here in America with Espada Art and Kitsune, I don't know how far it's going to take them. I think that it looks good. And here you can see Kitsune statue line. Espada Art decided to portray the fairy tale. It's statue in the Kitsune statue line. So these two companies combined, they're doing something amazing. And here, let me look at something here. It really interests me is it's made out of resin, but it has also ABS and sub P. So okay, so the resin that you see, all the clear thing, is mostly like ABS. So they're kind of following the same trend. Many European companies do it, like the same, I think, that we saw the most with Sume Art. They do this mix, this hybrid pieces. And I think that's the way to go, particularly when you have to represent fire. You have to go with the ABS PVC polyurethane because it looks better for those type of effects rather than just trying to do all polystone and then paint it. So it looks good. It's going to be limited to 400 pieces. Definitely keep an eye on these two companies. In this case, Espada Art, when this partnership they have here, you can see some of the other pieces they have done. I've talked about some of these pieces, if I'm not mistaken, the Hunter Rio before. But that piece in particular, it's interesting. And this company is working together to try to bring it to the United States as well and to kind of market. So I think it's good as the first statue. Definitely, I think Espada Art needed something big. You know, a lot of the stuff is very small, 1/8. They need something bigger that they can sell here in the market in the United States. Let me see if I can read some of the comments here. All right, so there are comments for the moment, so we're good. So we're gonna move to another company, and this is another company that it's brand new. I'm gonna come to Spec Fiction. And I want to talk about a company that is called Gatherer's Tavern. This company is based in China. I think they're based in Singapore. It's a company that started more as a distributor. They distribute for other companies, particularly XM Studios. They sell for them. They anything that has to do with products that has to do with games like Magic the Gathering or the Dungeons and Dragons lines. I'm not sure if they are actually within the same partnership, if they're companies within the same umbrella, because I know there was a lot of recently there were a lot of companies kind of within the same umbrella. The organizations are kind of sister companies. There's a lot of stuff going on like that in China. Of course, Connecticut was bought by this big corporation, and they're all combined with others. So there's a lot of that. But here, these are the pieces that we want to cover. We're gonna start first with this Magic the Gathering. This is Jace Beleren. I'm not, I really don't care much about the gaming. We have seen the pieces of Magic the Gathering that was done by XM Studios. That is the part where you know that they were sold by also by Gatherer's Tavern. I think that the partnership they have because of licenses. So that's my thing. I think they have something to do with licenses, that they're all kind of partners. But here, this is $1,200, $1,300, I'm sorry. And it has a light up feature, which I think they did a fantastic job in representing this light up feature with that whole base. Again, I'm unfamiliar with the game. I don't care much about the tabletop thing. I don't care about the game or this case the free to play game or any of those things. But on this type of games or this game, but it looks great. I think the light up feature is super powerful. I do consider that they did a really nice job in bringing it together. It's a big piece. Again, it's a quarter scale, fantastic detail. That base is phenomenal in my opinion. You can see all the I'm not sure if you can see all that pine forest thing. All of that is sculpted. It may be or may not, but it looks really nice. It looks neat, and those eyes glow. Very nice job when it's fully in power with the paint job, the cape. Really nice job. It has an interchangeable portrait. Nice job on the portrait. Very nice job there. Very cool detail. It's a lot of pictures. Very nice portrait, and those eyes are bright, man. They did a fantastic with those eyes. Definitely with the lighter feature, it's even better. So quarter scale, if you're into it, definitely this is very interesting. Now the next piece that they have now, and these are the only two pieces they have here, Gatherer's Tavern, is also $1,300. There's another quarter scale. This is from Dungeons and Dragons Drizzt Do'Urden. This is another piece that is very impressive. Mostly because look at that beast. Look at that Panthor. Looks amazing. That whole base, very, very neat. The 35th anniversary of Legend of Drizzt. Super, super cool. Fantastic. You know, like when you look at the first pictures, it looks good. But then when you look at the whole detail, the whole addition of things, everything is sculpted. Even that, you can see the sculpted of the cape, of the fur, all that is all sculpted. Very nice job on the sculpt and the detail and trying to kind of have that texture in the different parts. Like you can see the leather texture. Everything is sculpted. Very nice job. Interchangeable hands, you know, cool with the different swords. And that has a lighter feature. Also, that beast, that Panthor. Very nice lighter feature. Very good piece. Very cool. And I love what they did with that base. It's such a nice looking base. Very well detailed. Very well done. It's a really nice piece. I would say this company definitely has a lot of potential. It's doing really amazing work for sure. Limited to only 399 pieces. Here you can see interchangeable parts. I don't see any information about the artists involved here. It's very limited numbers. Very nice. You know, they did a fantastic job. The other piece that we had that was also limited to 399, so that's where we start. Let me take you to Facebook to give you an idea about this company. Gatherer's Tavern. All right, so here you can see Gatherer's Tavern. They're still there. They're small. They're still growing. They have their website. They are, of course, they got the different pieces. These pieces were actually by XM Studios, and that's what I'm saying. That seems like as a store, they kind of promoting this license, and they're working on it. Very nice. Just look at this picture of the artist doing the paint job. He did a phenomenal job with this. Gotta give him kudos for that. He did a fantastic job. The guy from this for this painter. He looks like a nice guy. He looks like a very humble guy. But also they do YOLO parts. I'm not sure if there's a connection with YOLO. They sell YOLO parts, which they do amazing statues. Statues figures. This Transformer figures that just recently came out, and I seen a lot of pre-orders or people talking about those as soon as they get it in hand. So that is really, really cool. So this company here, you can see pictures of this. The stuff they do a lot of Magic the Gathering stuff. They hold the license for that in Asia. So they sell the products and definitely those statues. Look at that light box. It looks good. The statue looks great. These guys are really doing a really nice job. They all look very young. And there's a lot of potential in this company. I'm not sure how far they're gonna go. But yeah, they're doing a really nice job. A lot of collectible things. And definitely they're selling some interesting stuff there. Let me see. I'm looking for some other pictures here. Maybe we can see it. See all photos. Here you can see all the stuff they have done. This is one that we just saw. Very interesting. Very nice job they did with this one. The level of details. Those are the ones that they promoted the most when they're their own signature. But they have done, for example, this here. You can see this is the XM1 Chandra. Amazing looking piece. They came with a lot of improvements by XM Studios, but they have it there. Also, they got this one. Another Liliana vest. Another one we talk about here on the channel. And yeah, of course, they have other things that they're selling. mostly they doing a lot of distribution that has to do with Transformer stuff, and definitely here you can see the pieces, their piece right next to the XM Studio pieces. They're also in link with them and their partnership they have, so definitely they're all gonna kind of sit well together, and that's what they're kind of building there, which is definitely very, very, very cool. So yeah, it's company one that I totally recommend to keep an eye on. And I think the website, let's see if we can go, if it's available. Here you can see a lot of distribution stuff. Here you can see the stuff they have for sale. You can pre-order. You can add this to your collection. The Chandra LR, Liliana Vest. Again, these are pieces that were manufactured by XM Studios. So that is the part where I feel that there's some sort of partnership that the XM Studios, they might even be related or be part of the same umbrella companies. They all together, you know, they all share that, and they all shared some of those licenses together. So we don't know. It might even be a company that is owned by XM Studios. Who knows? That's a lot of details there. All right, so this are we won, and I want to now we come into the important part of the night. I want to come to Sideshow back. We're going to Sideshow because I want to talk about you're here at Sideshow actually. We're gonna talk about some of the new things that we have seen from Sideshow. Of course, you know, the stuff that Sideshow is producing is always there. You know, we're always talking about it. There's always this commentary, or there's always like people having some issues with, and in some way it's good to have those type of things, you know, those type of situations. But the first thing that I want to cover today, we're going to talk about, for example, let's talk about this Rogue and Gambit statue. This is just a teaser that was showcased that is coming very soon, which I'm intrigued by it, to be honest with you. I'm intrigued by this. They've been doing amazing concepts with this love. You know, this was just on St. Valentine's Day. They kind of tease it. Nice art. Of course, I'm sure that we're gonna get the art prints, all of that. But it will be nice to see what they inspired. The most recent Clark Kent and Lois Lane is a really nice piece. Very beautiful depiction, and they have so many others in the part, and that are really nice depictions of this love statues, this couple statues. I think this is going to be an interesting one. We'll cover it when it comes out. We'll take the time to really go through it and really point out the good, the bad, but it's a really nice concept. Just if they sell the art print just like that, it would be great. I'm sure it's going to sell well. It's going to be a good selling point. I like that art print right there with Betty Page. Also, that's pretty nice. And there's some really nice art prints here that, you know, I don't get into it because that would be too much. Like this, another Batman and Catwoman, another art print. This is a really nice concept. Waiting for it to populate there. Very nice. And they're always coming out with some of these. But yeah, looking forward to that. And that actually will be, if that is the case, that love will be the first time they do it with a the Marvel license. They do one of those couple statues, and that would be awesome to see. There's other ones that they can come up with. They can do Jean Grey and Cyclops, or even a love triangle right there with Wolverine. Who knows? They can come up with so many different concepts. All right, so the first thing I want to cover here, we're going to cover the first piece that went on pre-order before we get into Superman, because I know that that's the one that probably is going to take a little time to discuss. But deep down, the Pulp Vixens piece, the second one in this line, I will tell you the previous one was my favorite, Mr. Sin. I think that is the best one of the two. But this is a great concept, very interesting. It has, of course, a very I like the way they present it. Of course, it seems the effect that she is underwater. That's what they try to present because of the pose. And in the picture, I think they captured that essence. It looks great. Nice statue. I think this angle looks nice from certain angles. It's not my favorite. I think the level of sexiness of the other one, of the first one, is a lot more. But you can see right there, I think of the two, this is the one that steals the show the most. It looks fantastic. It's a great, very unique style, you know, that, you know, the background and all that, everything. It's just a perfect piece. It's a perfect artistic depiction. This one is not bad, but I think it's overshadowed by this other one. But still, regardless, I think it's a very cool concept. Very neat. And I like that they use the background. Definitely this one, you're going to use some light up, or at least try to recreate the effect of water. That's something that definitely is going to work out so good. Yeah, the girl has some curves. I ain't going to deny it. You know, it's not a bad looking piece. And definitely it's a very artistic choice. And with Sideshow and the level of detail they add on this type of pieces, I think, in my opinion, it's great. I think they did a fantastic job with it. There's nothing wrong with it. And the paint job is excellent. Very nice. I like the hair. You know, definitely she's underwater, so they have to have that effect of that water flowing underwater. Very cool. She is battling. She's fighting. She don't look at that. The tentacles. Very nice paint job on the tentacles of the mechanized thing. And, you know, there's a lot of things there. It's such a nice detail. Look at that. The rust on that metallic door. It's a cool concept, you know. Undeniably, they did a fantastic job. You know, they truly did. Now, to kind of give honor to the artists, as they always do, let's look at some of the details. Will Harbottle, of course, phenomenal. He's always been a sculptor designer of this concept. He's a phenomenal sculptor. Ian McDonald, he's also a designer here. You have Kat Sapine as the painter. You know, Kat is phenomenal. The Sideshow development team, you know, there's no doubt. Every time Sideshow produces something, yeah, there's always going to be some discussion, some confusion, and some disappointment. But for the most part, I think the company, Sideshow, knows how to do certain things. And when they try this new things, I think that's when they shine. You know, the quality, the aesthetics shine, the ability. It gives the artists free room for them to express and to come up with some really crazy ideas, because you're not trying to follow a line. You're not trying to follow the guidelines presented by a franchise, by a company that tells you exactly what is it that they want, and they can reject your work. Here, the only approval they have is within them, so within the company. And I think Kalili, that's Hawana Kalili, that's her name. The Hawaiian look looks there, or the Samoan look is there. It's cool. It's cool. And very nice depiction. I think of this angle is great. There are certain angles. This is a piece that definitely will benefit a lot if you have a rotating table, where this one is constantly rotating, where you can rotate it. And that's when you're gonna benefit from this piece, because it can showcases all the different angles of it. That's the piece that definitely you have to have one of those rotating tables. Those Lucy Susan, mechanized Lucy Susans. I think Lazy Susans. I'm sorry. Lazy Susan, and I think that's when it's going to really shine. It's going to showcase the piece from a lot of different angles. So yeah, I think it's great. I like it. Now I want to cover, let's see if there's anything here. And again, I want to say thank you to all. Do not forget to leave a like, to subscribe to the channel. Let me know what you think about Kalili. Let me know what you think about everything we're covering here. All right, so if we come to here, I think the biggest thing that we want to cover tonight is definitely Superman. And I'm not sure if they have the video here, and that's what I was prepared just in case for some reason I was unable. Let's see if there's anything there. Oh yeah, right there. There's a Superman video. Right there. All right, I'm gonna just not play it, because I might just be penalized by the, you know, by if the music and everything. But I was prepared for this, because I knew for some reason that something will not work out, and I needed to be prepared for to have this. So we're gonna look at the video. This is the live video. We're gonna look at an excerpt of this video. This is the we're gonna look at it because I think we need to see it, because a lot of the things that have been happening with the Superman statue has been mostly the criticism done by people. You know, of course, as soon as the video went live, people already posting screenshots of the video and posted in social media, and a lot of people are talking, and of course there's a big mess and people complaining and people saying that this is the worst thing that ever happened to Superman, which to me is like amazing, that people can be out sometimes even disrespectful of the artist and the way they do it. You know, people have no filter, or I wouldn't say filter. A lot of people have no manners. A lot of people don't really have manners. You can express your dislike without trashing something. That's just my That's the thing that I know. You can displace your dislike for something, or that you're not satisfied, you were disappointed, without trying to go overboard with it. But we're going to cover some of those things in a moment. You know, we're going to look at that. But we're going to watch the video first. And based on that, of course, we will know for sure.
Look, up in the sky, it's a new reveal.
Oh my goodness. Let's take a closer look with a spotlight video and we'll be right back.
I'm gonna just turn off the music on this one, so that way I don't get penalized for any reason. So this is the, but is the tall, 34 inches. It looks fine to me. Very large.
The truth is that
and now I have a commercial, which sucks. All right, so we're gonna skip the commercial. We can't. All right.
Hey everybody, welcome back. We are here with the last son of Krypton.
Look at the scale of this piece. Now, Superman has been around a long time, and he's, of course, been something that Sideshow has done a number of times.
Pretty tall.
This
pretty tall piece.
Is, I believe, not only the tallest Superman we've seen, but perhaps the tallest premium format Sideshow has done.
When I'm looking at that face, there's a lot of things that I can see, like a quietly inspiration there. There's a couple artists that I do see there that they're taking inspiration from.
Brothers, and we'll talk a little bit about their work with Sideshow in a minute. This prototype was painted by Bernie Esquivel, and as Guy mentioned, this is 34 inches tall from the bottom of the base to the top of his fist, about 18 inches wide when all of the cape is taken into account, and about 15 inches deep. So this one...
All right, I'm just pausing this one. The cape is very flowy. I know a lot of people were complaining about the cape. They say that they don't like it like that. Now, this is a very stylized design. And if you know the Kucharik brothers, you know they love the stylized capes. There's something that they have done. So definitely I can see some of that. At first, when I saw the clouds and all that, I was like, okay, it's all right. When I saw initially the first teaser with it was just the base. But then I can see it now. It does look great. Now, would that be stable enough for a heavy piece? I don't know how heavy it is, but definitely there's a lot of weight also because there's a lot of cape in it. So yeah, and it's really tall, and definitely when you look at it, he's bulky, and it's impressive, just the bulk of the character.
A showstopper, a centerpiece, and is going to take up a lot of space in your collection, so make sure you're prepared.
Now, Amy mentioned the cape. This cape is fully sculpted and fully painted.
And I think that's one of the hallmarks of the Kucharik brothers' sculpture, especially. And Bernie did such a fabulous job with the...
Yeah, that's something that if you have followed them, you know, from all the pieces they have done, when they do capes, they do amazing capes with so much flow.
Star Wars mythos pieces as well, namely that Asajj Ventress, who has the beautiful red costume with all of the kind of flowing capes and kind of skirts there. And I think that that part of the storytelling, the fabric, really, you know, adds a lot of dimension and character to it, especially with a character like Superman, whose own cape has its own version of an origin story. It's part of the character, and it is as much a character as the Man of Steel himself.
Absolutely.
Now, when I look at this side, there's a lot of things that I will tell you about this piece that I personally found super interesting. Of course, the criticism, major criticism has been the portrait. People say that they're disappointed with the portrait, that even heard people saying that it looks bloated, that all of that. I will tell you one thing, it doesn't look bloated. Now, I'm not sure because I haven't talked to the Kucharik brothers. They haven't. Actually, one thing you're going to notice, if you've been following the Kucharik brothers for a long time, and I've seen many artists do the same thing. Many artists do the same. Artists are the type of people that they're also very insecure. They're great. They're phenomenal with the art, but I'm not saying that this is the case from them. Primarily Brian. Brian is the one that is always available in social media. He's the one that you talk. You don't talk to his brother, but Brian is the one that talks all the time. He's the one that is more open. Although they never share photos of themselves. They never really, they're more private that way. But Brian has always been more open. But you're going to notice that, and I've seen that not only them, but many artists, once there's a new release of the stuff that they have for any new piece or anything, I'm not sure if that's the case here. Sometimes they just simply disappear when things go out on pre-order. You don't see them talking, you don't see them showing up, you don't see them, maybe there's some stuff in their lives, but for the most part, sometimes they're unavailable. And sometimes, at first I thought, okay, it just happens, but then I realized that sometimes artists avoid that moment of a release. They do it because sometimes, you know, it gets a little clouded. You know, it gets cloudy, people come with so much criticism, and it just becomes, you know, a place that is so toxic in some way. Social media becomes toxic when people are voicing their opinion, but they're not doing it in a respectful way. They're not saying why they don't like it. They just simply don't like it. And I think many artists, they avoid that. They just don't want to be involved into it. They try to explain themselves why they chose. Because I even saw some people trying to, like, there were some sculptors, and I have to be careful, call everyone sculptor, digital sculptors, making like photoshops of the portrait into something else that they think will be look better. To me, that's disrespectful. You know, I gotta be honest with you. If it's disrespectful towards an artist to try to change their art. If they chose that, is for a reason. They chose it. You may not like it. Move on. But when you're trying to fix it, saying, "Oh, we can fix the face," and then you redo the whole face and Photoshop it, I'm sorry, but you're not. And then you call yourself an artist. And you know, I've seen some people doing that. To me, is very disrespectful. Particularly when you're talking about a artist that they're not well known doing that, digital artists. Talking about one of the oldest artists, one artist that is not only a digital sculptor but also a traditional sculptor and art designer, as the Gutierrez brothers have been. Some of the pillars that I've collected things for many, many years. I know them. These guys know what they're doing. They made a choice. Now, there are a couple of things that I can say here, and I think one of the biggest problems, and I'm going to go in detail because of the portrait, it is a deliberate choice. It's not like they fail to sculpt it. They decide to go with something more classic looking. And when you look at classic Superman from the Golden Age, it's very different than the way it's depicted now, which is more youthful, it's less bulkier, more athletic. In my opinion, they went for something that is a lot more bulkier in representation of those classic artists of the time. We're going to look at some pictures in a moment just to kind of give you an idea. Also to kind of give my point and why is that they went for this, in my opinion.
When you talk about what they're doing in paint to create a light source, to create those shadows, and all the intricacies, it looks beautiful, looks absolutely natural.
It is nice. Like looking at it from this angle and any angle, I think the blue pops. And I have the Tweeterhead Superman, which I looks amazing. But this is nice. Definitely the bulk. The portrait is a more older depiction.
Raised Superman S there on the chest.
Now,
very classic looking portrait.
Speaking of the raised and the upward look of the face, we do have some alternate angle images of the portrait, so you guys can see that. It's a little difficult.
Thank you. I think so too, Edmund.
To have a different angle, but if you guys want to take a closer look at that portrait as well, we've got some gallery images so you guys can see.
You know, I will tell you honestly, when I saw it first, I wasn't like blown away. So okay, because you know, I prefer the more,
and then of course,
like middle ground.
Incredible bass and kind of that lift off. You're getting that power and that energy, of course, not just.
That looks great. I will tell you the way he's pointing that out, the way that it's lifting up.
Bernie did with the cape kind of continues down into that kind of, well, we'll say cloud formation.
Yes, and there are semi-translucent elements as well, so there's a nice light pass-through of these pieces. You can.
Also, another thing that I like about the base, I do like that you see the round part of the bottom of I like the way they went. We're very simplistic. They didn't complicate it there. So in the middle, of course, is what is holding the pieces, that, you know, the cloud formation, which is amazing. And the way he's porting, he's actually flying. You know, he's at that moment where he flies super fast. And it's really nice the way he's doing it there.
Theatrical lighting, so you can see the wisps of cloud trail. And then you've got that almost kind of Krypton themed like launch pad. It feels like it belongs in the Fortress of Solitude, or it could just be a very scientific piece of platforming there. But those metallic blues really complement and blend in nicely with the cloud formation that you mentioned. And one of the things that I love looking at this piece is it's almost a before and after, unintentionally, but Sideshow's always pushing storytelling with our own releases. But if you've already got that call to action Superman, where he's just about to take off, you've got a very cool dynamic forward motion piece, and then you can bring this.
Now, I want to point out, like she's mentioned, the call to action, which is an amazing looking depiction of Superman. I think when going back to Sideshow, Sideshow has produced amazing looking Superman statues over the years. They have done really amazing statues. The original, the first one that came out, some people call it the OG. I don't call it the OG because I don't think it was that long ago. You know, although you can say it's original, the first one, yeah, you can say that, but maybe I feel like, man, it's been that long. I felt like it was yesterday when the first one came out. That definitely had its own Sideshow feel to it, but definitely it has that Alex Ross style that they took kind of inspiration from, but they also kind of given their own feel of the very realistic approach of things that Sideshow does. It looks fantastic. It's an amazing looking piece. It's an amazing collection, the original. Then, of course, we have other Supermans. We have the Christopher Reeve, statue that had the PVC head that was so highly criticized, but definitely it has its own following as well. We have other Supermans. I don't remember what the others. The more modern one that was done, which is fantastic, and more modern look, more the new 52 look. And of course the call to action. And if anything I skip right now, I'm trying to think. You know, there's other statues that they have done. You know, like now there's the most recent one. With Lois Lane, you know, they have done Supermans. You know, they have done really nice Superman. This, in my opinion, it goes back to an older rendition of Superman. You know, at first, I'm gonna be honest, I wasn't not a big fan of it at first. But then the more I look at it, the more I come back to the video. I think the problem has been that people are taking some screenshots from the video. I will tell you, the picture that they use originally to produce the teaser, it was not the greatest angle. They could have done a much better angle to give her a vibe. But the more I study the piece, and as you know, many of you know, if you follow the channel, I'm a big comic book fan. I love all the eras. I've read so many comic books throughout the history of comics. You know, I love comics. I read comics every day. And, you know, there's so many variations of Superman. Not everything is Jim Lee. And I think a lot of times people feel that Superman should look a certain way, primarily because what they have envisioned. Many collectors, unfortunately, are not even comic book readers, so they haven't read the whole story. And I will tell you, I can compete with anybody. Anybody can come to me and tell me, what is this Superman? I can tell you exactly which Superman versions I prefer over the others. But when I look at this, for example, I feel a little bit of Joe Shuster's Superman here. I feel a little bit like the inspiration on Kurt Swan, which is technically the father of the Bronze Age. I can see some Alex Ross and the Porters, a little bit of it, not as much as on the original PF. I can see some Frank Quitely, which is not a nice look. If you look at Frank Quitely's Superman, All-Star Superman, that he's not a nice looking guy, because Frank has this art. Kind of ugly, in some way grotesque, but at the same time it's so good and it fits so well with the Superman. He's not a nice looking guy, but it's such a great story. And also I feel a little bit of Team Sale. I like with the Superman for all seasons. And, you know, those Supermans, they look very, you know, they're big, they're bulky, the face is more square, more round, more, you know, looking. And in some way, it's kind of the homage to the original Joe Shuster Superman, which was not a good looking guy. And also when you look at George Reeves, the original TV series from that era, from the 50s, Superman, you know, we're going to look at a picture, I'm going to give you an idea. He was not a pretty good looking guy, you know, but for the time, for that era, you know, what was considered big and bulky and handsome was very different than what is considered now. Back in those days, you know, men were bulkier, tougher looking, more rugged. And even in Hollywood, you know, that was the image of a strong man, and Superman kind of embodies that. Nowadays, of course, they got the more athletic looking, more kind of like, I don't know, Christian Dior or any of those type of looking models or whatever. And that's the idea people have of Superman, you know, with some muscles here and there, but mostly like good looking fella. It's a different thing. I think a lot of times what people are thinking is more of a, they're more in line with something that was more newer. I think everything, and it's not something new, like more athletic Superman, more youthful Superman. You're looking at Neil Adams in style, like he technically, what Neil Adams was the one that made it look more youthful. When you think about Jose Luis Garcia Lopez, which definitely is for many the ultimate Superman. For many, is this depiction of Superman is fantastic in the 70s and of course the 80s. You're looking at John Byrne, which is, in my opinion, has always been my favorite looking Superman. Very youthful, very different, still big and bulky, but a little bit youthfulness in there. You see a Dan Jurgens, of course, from the 90s, a totally different vibe. You're looking at Tom Grummett, which, in my opinion, I love Tom Grummett more than Dan Jurgens' Superman. And of course, people think about Jim Lee. So people are always looking at these new versions, and they want the more good-looking, more, I would say, it's belt-looking perhaps the more a different type of mode, and I think they're going for the bulkier style, which in my opinion is there's nothing wrong with it.
And have the upward flight.
So we have our horizontal piece, because that's a long way, but we're pushing the envelopes here.
We are, and I hope super moderator Jesse in the chat also agrees with us that we've got some really cool Superman storytelling options here. And if you want to bring this piece home, he is up for RSVP, so he's not up for pre-order just yet. But you want to go to side.show/superpf. And again, you can be notified when this goes up for pre-order. You'll get your news bulletin from Clark Kent himself, and you can choose the email notification or the SMS, whichever method you prefer for us to get in contact with you.
Absolutely. Make sure to add Superman to your collection. Jesse, of course, this means you. Now, we have another brand new piece rolling in.
All right, so this is it for this Superman. I think they did a good job. It looks good. Now, let me go back to here and go back to the stuff we have here. Let me kind of give you an idea of what I'm talking about, because I want to be very clear on what I'm saying, just to talk of my butt. I want to really kind of give you an idea. Now, when people think about Superman, there's different variations. I think when you look at a classic Superman, you have to look, for example, one that inspires so many variations of Superman. Even when you look at the film, you look at George Reeves Superman. When you look at George Reeves, as you can see right here, he was not a good looking guy, at least not on my standard. But for the time, he was a good looking fella. But unfortunately, took his own life, unfortunately, very young age. But for many, that was a representation of a Superman. It's very, you can see the square jaw, his jaw is different. The line, his body is very different. It was bulkier. When you look at some of those images here, let me see if we can see some of them. Look at this one. A different time, would you consider nowadays the standard of a Superman? It's a different body type, but for the time he was considered a very good looking Superman, and a lot of people considered a person, an actor this caliber of this type, a person to consider as a Superman. And there's a lot of things. Here's Etsy. You can see a couple of things. I just go into whatever comes up. Very looking, it's not about looking guy, very strong, very bulky, very square, like the body, it has a bulk. It's not he's bloated. It was a different time, a different way to represent this character. So this is what we kind of see. Of course, I think a lot of things change then when we have the Christopher Reeve Superman, of course. The last name is almost similar, and sometimes it can be confusing, but it's two different last names, and there was no connection. He was, even when he won, a lot of people were skeptical of him because he was a more sleek looking Superman. And he was even skinny and scrawny when he was getting into but he gained some. But this is for many the image of a perfect Superman. Of course, you can see the body has changed. Less square, more svelte, more sleek. And this is definitely has been for many the vision of Superman's body, which has been even translated into the comics. A lot of comics you see the more svelte, his body is different. It's a different body type. But when you look at the different comics, like if you want to go back to the original comics, that technically that's what the George Reeves represented, the original Joe Shuster, misspell it there. Joe Shuster Superman. When you look at it, this is the representation of what I was considered a big Superman, a very square jaw, not the best looking guy per se. Look at some of those images there. I'm not sure if my big head is in the way. Just let me know if it's in the way so we can remove my head out of the way. But yeah, that's probably what I'm going to do here. Just bear with me. No, I'm gonna just do it. It's gonna stay right here. So when you look at this, for example, look at this Superman from the Golden Age. Very different style. The body's different. It's more square. He's not the most, like he's not like a pretty boy per se. He's just Superman. And this more of a square yaw. It doesn't have that like nice looking frat boy type of idea. It's just the way it is. So when you look at that, then of course we got Kurt Swan, which many love, definitely during the 70s, during the Bronze Age. He was the definitive for many Superman. And of course he kind of did a little bit of his portrait, was very in line with some of the Joe Shuster art. But he also, the body he did, it was a little more, it's kind of that combination. Like you can see, very muscular. The head is a bit more small in comparison to the body. And but still, he also created this big, bulky, as you can see that body. Look at the body. For many, this was the ultimate Bronze Age definition of the character. And of course, he had an evolution over time, but his body was very bulky. But for many people, I wouldn't call this a good-looking Superman. It was just Superman, like at the same time, let's consider that the ideas of beauty has changed, even in man, the way we perceive a good-looking man in comparison to others. It was a very different time. Alex Ross, we know the art. Alex Ross, definitely some people love Alex Ross and Superman, and to me, he's not a good-looking Superman. He's more like an older-looking Superman. I always consider it more of an old-looking Superman. I don't know. I'm definitely gonna move my head out of the way. Just bear with me while I'm doing that process. Okay, so I don't think I can. I'm trying, but I can't. Oh, I can. So bear with me while I'm doing that. All right, so we're doing that live. Moving my head so we can. I'm gonna move it right here. Okay, out of the way, out of sight, out of mind. Just temporary while I show you this, so you can see. Sorry if for some reason we disappear there for a second. All right, so there you have. So this is the Superman. Not a pretty looking, it definitely kind of like a representation. Definitely, I think one of the things is that he grew up with George watching the original show, so kind of pay homage to George Reeves. And you can see it on his style, older style. Nothing wrong with it. It looks fine. So that is Alex Ross and an older version of Superman for sure. Also, when you look at that, you look at Frank Quitely, for example. Let's see Frank Quitely's Superman. Look at this. Okay, it's taking me here to Amazon, so I can give you an idea of Frank's. Maybe we can see the portrait. Not a good, he's not a good-looking guy, and that's just there on that cover. But that's not the only one. When you look at Frank Quitely, look at this, the squarish of his face. It's all right, in my opinion. I never considered his Superman the best looking Superman. And he's definitely bulky. And I can see some of that representation there on the Superman that the Kuchar brothers are doing. Because in the end, Quitely also wanted to kind of, when he created, he wanted to go to the classic era Superman, give her that image of the classic Superman. And I think he accomplished that when you look at that. This statue, actually, the Frank Quitely statue, I had this one many, many years ago, and I think I reviewed it. Very nice little statue from DC Collectibles. So it has some of that. Not 100. I wouldn't say that it's a Frank Quitely depiction, but he does have some of that more rounded type. And ultimately, and I can go from on and show you so many different artists, but I want to take you to another one, which is Team Cell. Team Cell Superman. I always like Team Cell Superman, even though Superman for All Seasons I always like that depiction. As you can see, very square. Very square. But also Team Sale was going for the more classic depiction, classic look of Superman. So not a pretty looking one. Of course, when people think about Superman nowadays, of course, they thinking about mostly about one of the ones that were Neil Adams. He did, of course, many covers with Superman, and Neil Adams was always the youthful during the time. He was the young artist that people love. He was of the Jim Lee of his time. But when you look at his Neil Adams, it's more sleek. It's more youthful. Even the face has that youthfulness. Of course, his art definitely was not as great as he was getting older. Kind of losing some of that spunk that he originally had. But Neil Adams did a more of a youthful style. I think he took a lot of inspiration from Kurt Swan for sure too. But definitely he has his own take. His own more youthful take on things. But when you look at Neil Adams, of course, when you look at Jose Luis Garcia Lopez, and I'm going through all of this, maybe I'm just kind of rambling here, but just to give you a concept of different Supermans. Of course, people are always going to look at Jose Luis Garcia Lopez Superman, very iconic because he became kind of like the model to follow during the 70s, 80s. Well, he started in the late 70s. He started inking, actually, Kurt Swan, and then, of course, went into do his own thing, do more Superman, which he was known for. And his Superman has always been iconic, but very youthful, too. And definitely, I can see a lot of inspiration that was taken from Neil Adams, too, and the way he did it. And another one that did it fantastically, of course, here you look at the superpower Superman, because, of course, Jose Luis Garcia Lopez, a lot of his art was used for anything that has to do with the products that were sold, with all the advertisement. Definitely, that was his Superman. And I love his art. Very youthful, and definitely some of that vibe always taken from Christopher Reeve's Superman, because technically Christopher Reeve became kind of like the model to follow for Superman. Now, when you look at another one, for me, it's always, of course, John Byrne's Superman. Definitely is my favorite Superman. And I'll tell you this, I need to go back to start reviewing more books. It's something that I need to start reviewing more of the comics. To me, I love that. Definitely, it was I love the little bulkiness, but not super bulkiness of it. He's still a nice looking guy. Definitely, there's some of that Christopher Reeve vibe in it. Of course, you're looking at this in the early 80s. But very nice looking Superman for sure. Very muscular too. When you look at some of the stuff that was done here, they're really amazing through the art. Let me show you. Of course, a lot of people, when they think about Superman, they think about Dan Jurgens' Superman, another good-looking guy. So we're not saying that some is worse than the other. You have to understand that from the Bronze Age up to this point, there was an evolution of Superman to make it look more sleek, more athletic. You know, the muscles pop more. It's less square. It's a little more of rounding edges on the art. And many of these artists did a fantastic job, and I love them all for the different variations of Superman. And as there's been so many different Superman variations, there's also been, there's so many different ways to see Superman depending on how you see it. Dan Jurgens is fantastic. Now I'm gonna show you one of my favorites, which doesn't get as much credit, unfortunately, and that was Tom Grummett. I love his Superman. I think I put a double M. Sorry. Tom Grummett is one of my favorite Supermans. He did a phenomenal looking Superman. Very youthful as well. I love his Superman during that era. I enjoyed it very, very much. So Tom Grummett did a really nice job there. But of course, people think about Jim Lee too as an ultimate person that has done Superman. And I will tell you, like some statues that supposedly, even like the Prime One Studio, that a lot of people love that Superman statue. To be honest with you, it's a nice statue, but I still don't feel like it's 100% represents the art of Jim Lee. I just don't see it like that. Jim Lee also had the very bulky, of course, he kind of traced a little bit from John Byrne style and did his own thing. But a lot of people look at it as the ultimate rendition. And I will tell you this, that is the problem that we have now. Now, after going in circles for a little bit, This is what I want to say. I think the situation is that many people, when they think about Superman, they think about so many different variations of Superman, and primarily they're thinking about the version that they're more accustomed to. The reality is that there's been so many different variations of Superman over the years. There's not like a definitive per se that you can say, oh, this is the definitive way to represent Superman. It's been so many, and you know, they're all good. You know, I feel based on what I'm looking here, we've seen so far, that they decide to go in a way to kind of respect the classic look of Superman. And I don't know if that is what they chose, but they decide to go where definitely represent the Superman of old. They represent the Superman from the Golden Age to the Bronze Age. The Superman that is bulkier, more squarey. Of course, Sideshow kind of throws to the mix their own vision. They give her their own take. He has a little bit of a modern take. The muscles are popping, but still it has the little bulkiness, and it has the classic suit, all of that. So it is a Superman that is nice. It's not for everyone. Definitely, it's not for everyone. It's not for the people who like Jim Lee or like the New 52. They just like the modern renditions, or they like the young artists. They like the more sleek design. You like that. This is not your Superman. That doesn't mean that the Superman is bad. That doesn't mean that they dropped the ball. That doesn't mean that the Kuchar brothers don't know what they're doing. That doesn't mean that you can go there and actually do your own version of it and pop it on top of the portrait saying, oh, this is the way we fix it. You're not fixing anything because there's nothing to fix. It's just the way it is. This is the Superman that they envision. It is not your cup of tea, then move along. There's going to be another Superman. Believe me, it's going to be another Superman in a year or two. There's going to be more Supermans because this character sells. There's always going to be variations, and I'm glad that there's variations. The cape is flowy. This is what they wanted to do. They gave him the free round. They decided to do it. In my opinion, it's fine. I think it's going to be great. The only problem that I will point out is the type of statue, like as she mentioned there in the video, is going to take a lot of real estate. It's really tall. You got to be mindful of this. This is a statue that definitely, because he's looking up, also you have to put it in a place where you are able to also see his face. I think the bulk is nice. I think it's a great piece. It's not for everyone. It's looking up. Yeah, that's going to bring some challenge to that. So you got to find the perfect, it's a standalone piece overall. This is not something that you're going to display with other things. It's not made for that purpose. It's not part of a collection per se. And I don't think it should be. I think as a standalone piece, it's a fantastic Superman rendition. So let me know what you think, my friends. You know, and this maybe I took a little longer than anticipated with Superman. I think it's great for what it is. Yes, it's going to be detractors. It's going to be people that are going to try to say that it's trash and all of that. And you know, like everyone is an expert. You know, you give someone a keyboard and everything, everybody can type whatever. But the reality is that for what it is, I think they did a good job. And it is not the Superman that I prefer. Like I mentioned, I have so many variations of Superman. I like the youthful. I like someone in between. My favorite Superman has always been the John Byrne Superman. I like the Tom Grummett Superman, the Dan Jurgens style, because of the time that I read those comics. But I can respect a good Joe Shuster Superman. I can respect the Kurt Swan Superman. I can respect a Jose Luis Garcia Lopez, which is technically more on the younger side, in my opinion. I can respect an Alex Ross, which I did with the original PF. I respect a good respect to Frank Quitely's Superman. I can respect, of course, any of the other artists. You know, there's so many variations of Superman, and they're all amazing in their own right. I think this is going for the classic Golden Age. For the classic Bronze Age, it's going into that mixture of the very iconic Superman. And yeah, it takes some liberties, it modernized some aspects of it, but I can still feel that it is going into the more classic look, and I think it's doing it in a good way. Not for everyone, but still, it's a good way to do it. Okay, so now we're moving on. I think I spoke my mind on this one. Maybe I get some flack for that too. That's okay. I'm okay for it. I'm not here to please anyone. I will tell you something that I posted today on my Facebook. If you try to please everyone, you're gonna please no one. So this is what artists should be always concentrated, is doing their own thing. And when you start listening to all these people giving you, you know, then you try to please them, and then you start lose focus on what you're trying to accomplish. And I think what artists are doing nowadays, a lot of artists are just skipping social media, and they just concentrate on doing what they do best, which is produce art. You know, at the end of the day, you know, this is art. You choose to buy it or not. You like it or you don't. And if you don't like it, then there's no reason to try to fix it. This is not an item for a living. This is a luxury item that, you know, as every other art, there's so many things out there for everyone. You can choose something else. I think for what it is, there's so many good things about this statue. And the more I see it, the more I like it. The more I see it, the more I feel that it's good for, you know, what they were trying to do. I think they accomplished what they tried to do. It doesn't need to be fixed. All right, my friends. Now, as we continue on, there's one more piece to cover tonight, and I want to take you to, we're going to go to a spec fiction. All right, so we're going to come to spec fiction because we're going to look at Legendary Beast Studios. This company has a Batman, the new Batman statue that they have. I think it looks terrific. Of course, here at Legendary Beasts, you see other pieces. We're not going to cover them because technically they've been on pre-order for a while, but now I think they're available for them to sell. Like the Witcher 3, this is from 3.0. That's available now for them. Also, the Tusken Raider has been out. I think they allowed the signature edition. This is probably some of the last ones that were produced. But this company, we're going to cover some of the stuff that they produce. Regal Robot. Next week, I think they have something that we're going to cover that then. Something new that's on pre-order. But I want to cover this pieces right here. This is the ones you see, the Premier Blue, because they also have regular ones. But I want to talk about this Batman statues from this company. Let's start with the black one. This is the black version. The Premier version, Prestige Series 1/3. Price is $1,600. A 1/3 scale statue. I think it's a fantastic looking Batman. It's only 200 pieces. It's a very small number, edition size. And it comes with so many multiple interchangeable portraits, as you can see. It has the unmasked portrait. Looks great. It has this portrait, which is a very Alex Ross inspired. You got this one that I would say, I'm not sure exactly what they were trying to accomplish with this one. I see the Odo, maybe. Some of that art of he does, kind of like on the mouth, maybe. And then you have like a more Jim Lee style. So it has like modern, you know, some different variations of it. But this is a very interesting. And again, this also, as they did with the Superman on the other statue, has the flowy cape. Something that I gotta point out, there's nothing wrong with flowy cape. Some people want to have the perfect looking cape in the sense that they want, something that is more natural. They don't like the flow of things or too much flow. But to be honest with you, sometimes artists, they do it, and the Kuchak brothers do it for impact purpose. It's not because it's realistic. It's because they're trying to make impact. And the flowy capes look impactful, make something look better. So one thing that if you follow my podcast where I interview Eric Sosa recently, well, last year when in my podcast and interview, he says that the most important thing is about exaggerating some features. That's something that you learn as a sculptor to do. When you exaggerate features or parts, you add more muscles on top of muscles. You know, it's not because you're trying to make something abnormal. It's not because you don't know anatomy. It's because you're breaking the rules. You're breaking the laws. That is something that you kind of like Neo on the Matrix. You have to break the laws. You have to break how you can break a law to make something look better. And that's something that it's always been done in comics. It's always done in the art. You know, you like even with Spawn. Spawn has this big flowy cape that is unpractical. Batman has this big flowy cape. It's unpractical. Superman has a big flowy cape. On the Kuchak Brothers statue that we use from Sideshow, it's unpractical, but it looks super cool. And that, in the end, that's what you're trying to do. You're trying to things to make look cool. You don't want a nice, you know, a real looking Superman because nobody has that body. You want to make it look unrealistic at the same time, and you want to glorify it. You know, it has to be a glorified version of the character. I like this one. The black looks fantastic. I think particularly with the Alex Ross version of the portrait. This has some of that Jim Lee style. That looks also good. You also have the interchangeable symbols, Batman symbols. That's great. Flowy cape, very nice detail on that base. They add so much detail. You can see the rogues there, all the characters. You see Bane, very nice looking Batman for sure. Love the different changes with all these different change out parts. It definitely you can come out with so many different variations from Batman Year One right here, kind of, and then you go to the original the Jim Lee Batman kind of, but in black. Very nice. That black one looks fantastic. Definitely, some of them kind of look like a Gabriel Del Auto portrait, but yeah, they did something. Of course, that's kind of like a Batman Year One, which is a Frank Miller style. Very cool. That kind of looks like in the game on the Arkham series when he's without the mask. Very nice piece. Like that. Here you can see you got the retro head, you got the serious portrait, you got the modern head, you got the Bruce Wayne head, the clenched teeth head. You also get the one hand with the grappling gun, one holding cowl, retro utility belt, modern belt with pouches. So man, I think for the price you're paying this, you got so many things. You got so many variations, inclusive base, adds on. You got stalagmites and bats. There's so many things here. It's like you have multiple statues in one. So that can justify, because you can have so many different displays with this. With interchangeable parts. When you change all these parts, you can have so many different, and it looks so different with the different parts. Some pieces, sometimes the portrait doesn't really make a big of difference, like we saw with the Skeletor and the Panthor. The Skeletor, you know, has a nice portrait, the more vintage style. That's kind of nice, but it doesn't make a big of a difference. You can have the regular one, which is fantastic just by itself, so that's fine. It's only one thing that is making a change. Here, with all these different parts, multiple parts, and all you can change and mix match, you can match them in different ways. You are having different statues and different looks. This definitely is a nice, and for that price, I think it's like you have multiple statues at 1/3 scale, which is nice. So this is the one. Now, looking at the blue one, I like the black one for sure. I think it looks fantastic. The blue one looks better if you're trying to go for the Jim Lee look. Here's like more of that Jim Lee look, although that, you know, with the natural symbol there. I think this kind of Jim Lee in some way. Yeah, it looks like, you know, when you look at there's different variations of the Batman by Jim Lee. You have the All-Star Batman and Robin style, which is a bit different. The cowls and all that is a bit different than the one from the Batman Hush. So there's a little bit difference that they were taken in the inspiration. So this one could be like for old, you know, Batman and Robin All-Star. It looks good. Again, I like the cape. I like the paint job. I like the detail on the suit. Very neat. Very nice paint job. The belt looks great. The two different belts. Now here's more like a kind of Alex Ross, more classic style. Looks fine. The belt. But I think this one looks better with the more modern look. It's a nice picture. It's a nice Batman for sure. Man, there's so many angles. It's not a bad one, but I think if you want to go for that particular version, I think you go for the black one, which is more classic. But it looks good. Interchangeable. I think that's gonna use magnets to change the parts. Looks great. Man, I'm looking at all this and I'm really impressed by it. By the different things that they have done with this piece. There's so many nice pictures here. Again, I think Legendary Beasts did an amazing job with all the different parts. All right, so we can keep going. We're gonna stop it there. But yeah, it's really a nice piece. They have done such an amazing job with it, with the two different versions of it. The artists here, they did such a fantastic job. Legendary Beasts definitely is killing it with the stuff they are producing, which in my opinion, it's amazing. All right, so man, we were here almost gonna be almost 3 hours soon. But we've been talking about a lot of things, and coming to the end of the video, we're gonna share my last thoughts before we move on, before the end of this live stream. If anything you want to share right now, it's a good time. Any questions, anything that you want to talk, the ones where if you're watching, this is the perfect time so we can answer some questions, and you can point your opinion and I can look at it. We can talk about it. But yeah, it's definitely, there's an amazing thing that we have here. Again, you know, art is subjective. Everyone has a different perception of it, and there's not a right or wrong answer. You don't have to like something that everybody likes. You don't have to hate something that everybody hates. You know, you don't have to. You like it, you like it. You don't like it, don't like it. You don't need to ask permission to no one to like something or dislike something, and also to share your opinion. However, I feel that in this time and age where there's so much the air is so polluted with political things and people trying to say that, and even political correctness can be out of the way, sometimes can be too much. I think there has to be a level, a middle ground. It has to be a level of where you're honest and sincere, but at the same time, you're mindful of what you're saying. You know, and I feel that for some reason, people feel the need to say whatever they want to say. And they say, well, people need to toughen up. Yeah, but if that's the case, then why don't you do the same thing in the real world? Because most people that are tough, or they're really tough, or they show this tough idea on social media are the same people who back down on the road, on the street, with somebody show them the finger. You know what I mean? There are a lot of people that they avoid confrontation. They, you know, like they see somebody taking advantage of other people. They don't step in because they're afraid to step in. But in social media, they embolden themselves to say whatever they want to say and say, well, like, this is the way I am. No, you're not, because in the real world, you don't tell your boss to stuff it. You don't tell your boss to say, you know, like, suck it up. You don't say that. Why is it that you feel that they have now, that gives you the permission to do it in social media and talk smack about artists or the people that they're involved in this? You know, again, you know, saying that, using Superman as an example, not everyone needs to like it. You don't have to like it. You're disappointed, you're disappointed. But, you know, there's nothing wrong with being disappointed about something that you expected to be better. However, and as I mentioned before, just do it in a respectful way. Just be considerate about the artists and the work they do, because it means a lot to them. You know, they doing it with their heart. They trying to express something. You know, not everyone sees it the same way. That's fine. But there's nothing wrong with that statue. There's nothing wrong with it. And it doesn't have to accommodate your personal likings of Superman or any other character. It doesn't. It's just the representation that the artist feels compelled to represent. And as many other Supermans have been in the market, and as many will come, you know, there's always going to be something to choose. And Sideshow definitely, and particularly Superman character, is a character that will be reproduced time and time again. You know, it's a character that it will reproduce as many times as possible. And you don't want all the Supermans to look the same. I don't want the same looking Superman from Sideshow. I don't want the same representation, because what's the point? Might as well just simply come up with the original and keep reproducing that one, and until Kingdom Come, make 1,000 if you want, like, or 2,000 more, you know, a third round of it, you know, because if that's the Superman people want. But they want to try something new. They want to do a different variation of it. And at the end of the day, that's the way to do it, you know, in that collectibles market. You know, you want to have limited numbers, because if not, what's the point of paying top dollar for something that doesn't hold value because there's 10,000 of them, you know? So just let's keep that in mind. But let's just be respectful of the artist. So yeah, this is what we covered today. Definitely, this was a fantastic week, as we mentioned early. Collectibles, more stuff is gonna come. We're gonna cover those things as they go. We don't know when Superman's gonna go on pre-order. We'll talk about it. Definitely that Gambit with Rogue. Looking forward to that. There's a lot of things that will come. We don't know what the next will be, but definitely this news was amazing, particularly with the trailers that we saw. Deadpool, looking forward to Deadpool. The news of the Fantastic Four. I'm definitely happy. At first, I was kind of skeptical of Pedro Pascal as Reed Richards, but the more I see it now, the way the cast is, the people that they chose for the different to portray the different characters, I can see it now. I can see it, because sometimes you only see one character, you think that character is perfect for the role. But with the Fantastic Four, you have to have this chemistry, you know, because it's a family, as in the comics. So I'm happy. I feel that the chemistry is there. We'll see how that evolves, how that develops, but I'm looking forward to the film next year. So that was a fantastic. Of course, we have the new trailer from the Planet of the Apes, or the new Planet of the Apes in that series. Definitely nice. The new Godzilla versus King Kong film. That trailer would also blow my mind. So there were so many good things. I think this year is going to be really fantastic at the movie theater. We'll see how that goes. But definitely there were so many good things that we covered today with collectibles. You know, I think every company is doing their part. We'll see what next week will bring, and if we are here to produce this live video. So my friends, I want to say thank you very much. God bless you. I appreciate your support. We will have the timestamps. They will be available tomorrow. So if for some reason you just got here and you're unable to watch everything, and there was something you were interested on, you can actually find that part in the video. It will be a lot easier to find it too. You can share this video with your friends. It's appreciated, and consider supporting the channel financially through whether it's through the super chat, whether it's through Patreon. You can do so. Follow me on social media: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. The links are in the description. And also, please like the button and subscribe to the channel. Ring the bell. That way you're reminded of every video as they come. My friends, I want to say to all of you tonight, thank you again for the amazing support. You all rock, and I thank you for that. God bless you. I'll see you again.